that it's failed to make adequate housing available in the inner city of Cape Town. The court said yesterday that location must be treated as a relevant factor to deal with spatial injustice inherited from apartheid and not only distance from the CBD. In response to the judgment on the unlawful attempted sale of the Tafelberg school site in Sea Point, Infrastructure MEC Tertius Simmers says he will soon present a ministerial policy statement on transformation and affordable housing reform. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
The Constitutional Court yesterday set out clear timeframes for the provincial government to present their affordable housing programs, policies and plans to the court for consideration. The court will want to assess the schedule of affordable housing projects in the areas within the CBD that have been completed since the case was first launched in 2017, those currently under construction and those that are under consideration. The matter may again be enrolled for hearing for the court to make further determinations. Justice Nonkosi Mahlanhla handed down the Constitutional Court's ruling.
It is declared that the province failed to meaningfully engage with the public and hold a meaningful public participation process in relation to the disposal of the Tafelberg property.
Infrastructure MEC Tertius Simmers says the provincial government will continue to pursue practical reforms that expand access to affordable housing while supporting inclusive economic growth and sustainable urban development. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
KwaZulu-Natal police say more planned marches against illegal immigration will be closely monitored. Anti-immigration group March and March announced that it will protest every Thursday for the next 6 months until government sorts out what it describes as a broken immigration system. The group demonstrated across the country this week, calling for undocumented migrants to leave South Africa. Provincial Police Representative Phumelele Makoba has assured they have enough capacity to respond to any situation.
As a province, we've always been dealing with protests. This time of the 30th of June has not been the first time and definitely is not the last time we'll be handling unplanned protests.
Makoba says people have a right to demonstrate and police will always ensure they are safe.
The Constitution allows them that, and as the police, it's our responsibility and our constitutional mandate to maintain public order. So we will be dealing with them with the resources that we have.
Meanwhile, the ANC says genuine concerns over illegal immigration have been hijacked by political agendas. The party held a media briefing yesterday to reflect on the 30 June demonstrations. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula has also defended its record in government, saying its efforts to deal with illegal immigration have been stifled by the courts and NGOs. Mbalula says leaders of anti-illegal immigration groups used the demonstrations to openly campaign for certain political parties.
You must also appreciate the fact that there have been deep political utterances right from the onset. Government has failed, government must be removed. When somebody says that, it closes you down. And then the next step, no, we're fighting illegal immigration. But in this illegal immigration, we must be conscious of the fact that we have been failed by government and government must go.
And the death toll from Venezuela's twin earthquakes has risen to more than 2,500, that is. Interim President Delcy Rodriguez gave the update today during a press conference. She says there are no plans for mass graves for those killed in the June 24 disaster, as thousands are still reported missing from the double earthquakes. One of Latin America's worst earthquake disaster crushed scores of residential apartment complexes, burying many in the rubble and triggering an international rescue operation. The two powerful quakes, measuring 7.2 and 7.5, shattered entire neighborhoods in oil-rich Venezuela, which has suffered decades of economic crisis that's devastated infrastructure and its health services. Gold is trading at $4,122.84 an ounce. The rand is at 16.27 to the dollar, 21.71 to the pound, 18.59 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $72.27 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks. There's also queuing traffic along the Markwan North between Boysons Road and the Crown Interchange.
And in your sport, live FIFA World Cup action has Switzerland leading 1-0 against Algeria. Portugal and Spain both through to the round of 16. The Proteas women fall short against England in the T20 World Cup semi-final. And we'll also have the latest from Wimbledon.
A fine Friday in store for Gauteng, Johannesburg starting at 0 degrees, peaking at 16. Pretoria 2 and 17 for the Inaging, -2 and a high of 15 degrees. The top story in EW and the Sawa. The Western Cape government has 3 months to submit plans for affordable housing to the High Court following a scathing judgment from the country's top court that it's failed to make adequate housing available in the inner city of Cape Town.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
06 on this Friday, the 3rd of July, the year of our Lord 2026. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. On our menu today, we look back on the week that was. Politically, you could argue that all 4 big parties in South Africa were in the headlines for the wrong reasons. President Ramaphosa reappointing a liar to replace a liar in cabinet? Where's the renewal there? Does the DA use political influence to pull the levers of the state for the benefit of their friends? Jacob Zuma went to have tea with an old friend, one-time state capture fugitive AJ Gupta. And did Julius Malema block the ad hoc committee's efforts to try to get a top cop to account? We'll have that conversation with Sam Mkokeli. And tomorrow, America, the land of the brave, celebrates all of 250 years. A country that was meant to represent liberty, a country born of revolution, a country with leaders such as this.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together.
Ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world,
Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Now, even as we speak, there are those who are preparing to divide us. The spin masters, the negative ad peddlers, who embrace the politics of anything goes. Well, I say to them tonight, there is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will.
I have seen the promised land. I have been to the mountaintop. I may not get there with you. The words of one Martin Luther King. We'll speak to David Smith about America 250.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
But, of course, before we do anything else, it's a Friday and I'm not alone in the studio, so clear your throats, gargle, gargle, gargle. Amoramila, Muteo Kharipe, here we go. A one, two, three.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday. It's a Friday. 9 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to the program. We're excited to be in your company. We're really asking a question today. Has America lived up to its promise? Martin Luther King Jr. said that the greatness of America was the right to protest for its rights. We, of course, have one of the most lauded constitutions in the world, and it all started with those leaders who wrote down in the American Constitution that all men were born equal, except they really meant men who looked like themselves. So, has America kept its promise?
But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
I'm a lover of words. I'm a lover of oratory. And you don't get much better, I think, than Martin Luther King Jr. Somewhere I read. Should be a fascinating, big interview conversation with David Smith a little later on.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, our shout out this morning, 11 after 6. We're asking a very simple question. What was the worst offense you committed as a child in your home? I mean, this is the one time your parents probably considered strangling you or taking you to the orphanage or boys or girls child, such as it was in those days. What's the worst thing you ever did that you remember and you look back now and you hang your head in shame and you think, oh my gosh, I really did put them through a lot, didn't I? What was the worst, the most egregious offense as a child? Muteo Kharipa, you've got a smile on your face as if you're trying to go through a process of elimination. Do I tell this story? Do I tell that story?
It's far too many, bro.
I could see that on your face.
I dabbled in green cigarettes at some point as a teenager, and my mom could smell it on me, obviously, at that particular point. She tried to give me a hiding. Now, the problem was not that I had dabbled in the green cigarettes. The problem then became that I wasn't crying while she was hitting me. As if I was ready to fight back, you know?
Oh, you're a man now.
So she was calling everyone to say, I don't feel safe in this house anymore. This man is not crying when I beat him. So yeah, it was, one of the worst things I've ever done.
Talking of beatings, so I had long fingers. No purse was safe in the home, but usually the purses of my mother's friends who were visiting. So if you left your purse or your bag unattended, even for 2 minutes,
no,
the fingers.
Finger man.
So, I mean, obviously I'd done this once too many times, and there was a time my mother administered the beating of my life, but it was the beating of my life. And just after, the blows were still raw, one of her friends came visiting unannounced. And I had this reputation of being the one who made the best coffee. So after she just administered this massive, monstrous beating, should have called Child Protection Services. Can I still call them? It was 1989. Statute of limitations, hey, there. Aunt Doris, I even remember her name. She asked me to make coffee for her friend Doris. So instead of sugar, I put in another white powder.
Bongani.
In Doris's coffee.
Salt.
Mm-hmm.
Bongani.
And this woman was sitting going, what's wrong with this coffee? What's wrong with this coffee? You can't beat me like that and ask me to make coffee for your friends.
So the beating didn't work, basically.
I mean, listen, the fingers eventually stayed
in your pockets.
In my pockets. So the beating, I suppose, long term did work. But in that moment, I had to exact my revenge. Of course, I confessed this many years later. To peals of laughter, I can tell you. Amo?
So we used to use the landline for phone calls and everything else, right? After school, we'd go to my grandmother's house because my mother had to work. So we would stay at my grandmother and my granddad's house for like the day, and then later on go to it was a walking distance. So after the school holidays, the Telkom used to send that invoice to say this is how much you were owing, right? And my grandmother then was like to my mom, please, can you help me? There's no way this bill is this much, right?
I haven't made this many phone calls.
Made these many phone calls. And it just doesn't make sense because I only phone like 2 or 3 people a day. That's my grandmother, right? But on that list was all of Pat Amu's friends. Now, how I got caught was that I had a telephone book of my own that I used to use to phone my friends. And then my mom looked at the book and looked at the numbers, and 1 + 1 was
Evidence.
2. And I was, to say more. It's just,
In those days, and that was literally an electricity bill. Like the phone
Yes.
bill was a serious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you phoned
Yeah.
cell phones
Yes.
from the landline. Because I imagine all your friends, some of them would have had cell phones, no?
No.
This was
They also had
landlines.
landlines. Yeah.
All right. The most egregious offense you committed in your home growing up. Let's have fun. It's a Friday. We'll tell you why we're asking that question coming up.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
There remains much consternation, of course, about the return of one Dina Pule, who is now going to be the Minister of Social Development. We've been talking about it all week. In fact, we started mentioning it on this show some weeks ago when speculation was rife that when the president would indeed have a cabinet reshuffle, she would be the one to get this post. Yesterday, Fikile Mbalula, the ANC's Secretary General, tried his best to defend this appointment by President Ramaphosa. Are you convinced by what Fikile Mbalula had to say?
The appointment of Comrade Dina Pule to the National Executive as Minister of Social Development. And we commend the President for his decision to appoint this capable and knowledgeable comrade. We do not dismiss the concern this appointment has stirred, and we understand where it comes from. Ours is a movement in the midst of renewal of its values, its ethical standing, and the trust of the people. And in such a moment, South Africans are right to hold their leaders to the highest bar. We hear that call and we take it seriously. To answer it honestly, we must speak not only of a sanction served, but of the work of correction that has been done and that continues. The people of South Africa do not hand down life sentences, least of all where there has been accountability, redress, and correction. Comrade Pule faced a process more than a decade ago. She was sanctioned by that process and she accepted the consequences.
Are you convinced by that? Fikile Mbalula says, well, hang on a minute. She served her time. She was in the political wilderness for a time. She can't be punished forever, so she makes a welcome return. She's experienced. She's knowledgeable. Are you convinced by that? The Sowetan asks a really, really important question in its editorial this morning. They're saying the question we all ought to be asking now is, so what will stop all of those who were implicated, say, in state capture and even the Madlanga Commission, who were subsequently removed from their positions, from making a similar comeback? If Pule could lie low for a few years only to resurface at the high echelons of executive power, what stops, say, Sisisi Tolashe from doing the same? I want to raise the Sowetan on that question and say, oh, that's higher grade stuff. What do you mean? What stops them from coming back? Some of them never left.
And I want you to love me like I never left. And I want you to hold me like I never left. And I want you to touch me like I never left.
Come give me what I'm missing. I mean, this must surely be Dina Pule's favorite song right now. Like I Never Left. Who was implicated at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry? Wasn't Gwede Mandashe somebody we were told had questions to answer? Wasn't Nomvula Mokonyane somebody we were told had questions to answer? Did they ever leave?
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702. Let's walk the talk.
19 after 6. Mateo Kharipa, you've got a question of your own,
Yeah,
no
I
doubt.
want to know from you and the 702 landers, speaking around friendship, have you left a friendship circle or a WhatsApp group chat because of differing views and not essentially agreeing with how people think and do things?
I've had friendships that have broken down irretrievably over political disagreements, particularly the Palestinian-Israeli issue. I've had very, very dear friends whom I have loved for a long time, with whom I've been friends for a very long time, and we just could not see eye to eye on the Israeli-Palestinian question. And
are there some issues where it's not enough to disagree?
Yeah. There are questions on which I say, not around me, you won't.
I want to know those.
Gender-based violence, not around me, you won't. There are some principles we have to stand on. Absolutely.
I'll tell you why I'm asking.
702.
Weather.
20 after 6, this EWN weather brought to you by Samsung Air Conditioners. Stay warm your way. What weather can you expect in Gauteng today? Fine, mostly in Pretoria. A peak of 17 degrees, starting with a low of 2. Joburg also fine. Possible morning frost. 0 degrees is your low. 16 degrees later. Vereeniging -2 to 15. Mbombela peaks at 21. Polokwane at 22. Mahikeng 17. Bloemfontein, how brrr is this? -1, peaking at only 12 degrees. Durban has lovely weather, fine, peaking at 23 degrees. Gqeberha 19, East London 21, Cape Town cloudy at times, some morning rain and showers. Your maximum there is 17.
Is it warm or is it cold? When the weather's unpredictable, we have a solution you can count on. Samsung air conditioners bring you efficient heating, ensuring family-friendly comfort indoors. Get tailored comfort for every weather forecast. Don't just stay warm your way this winter. Shop for your perfect fit at Samsung stores, participating retailers, or speak to a friendly installer today. EWN Traffic.
21 minutes after 6 o'clock. Let's have a first look at the roads.
Well, Bongani, we've got heavy delays on the N3 North already between the Airlines interchange and the Kiluli's interchange. That's due to roadworks along this route. While traveling in Kempton Park, an accident on the R21 South that happened right after Atlas Road. It's causing delays. There's also an accident seen on the M1 South after Grayston Drive, also slowing down traffic. I'll have more updates, but if you see anything else, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Have you got your SMS yet? Because the 139 million Rand Powerball Extra Cascading Jackpot has been won. So 3 people each walked away with over 45.7 million Rand. The tickets were bought on the Standard Bank and FNB apps and one in-store at a Checkers Hyper in Alberton. Congratulations! Don't you forget to play the Powerball today, because the total estimated jackpot of 74.5 million Rand could all be yours. The National Lottery. More players, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizek.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Score big with the Checkers XXL Savings Championship with over 150 million Rand in weekly extra savings. Get Jacob's Kroninger Gold Instant Coffee 200 or 230 grams, any 2 for 299 Rand. Clover Butro Full Cream Modified Butter Spread 500 grams, 2 for 159 Rand. And Twin Saver 2-ply white toilet rolls, 24 per pack for 159.99. Valid until 5 July, only at Checkers.
Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is closing entries. Of course, this year, we're celebrating entrepreneurs who've turned personal challenges into businesses making a real difference. IgniteYourBusiness.co.za or PrimeMediaPlus.com to enter. There's 200,000 Rand and the recognition your business deserves. T's and C's apply. Nedbank, see money differently. An authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Hey Bongs and team, happy Friday. It's a Friday. Quick story, beating of my life. I was pretty much fascinated with lighters and matches. I was very young. I just remember the beating. I don't remember the incident, but I pretty much burnt down half of the garage. That was, I had to go through a process of elimination. There are a few, but that's the one that stands out. Hope you guys have an incredible Friday and an awesome weekend. Take care. Awesome show. Thanks. Maurice, Pretoria.
Maurice in Pretoria. You and I, my friend, are enough reason for some people to be scared to have kids.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
25 after 6, we're asking the question, our shout out this morning, the craziest thing, the biggest offense, the most egregious offense you ever committed as a child in your home. Why are we asking it? Let me put you out of your misery. Listen to this. An 11-year-old boy behind the wheel. So at a religious pilgrimage which ended in tragedy in Thailand, authorities say 8 Buddhist monks have been killed and at least 10 others injured after a boy allegedly took his parents' pickup truck without permission and drove into a procession of monks and worshippers in northeastern Thailand. The group was taking part in a traditional pilgrimage when the child reportedly lost control of the vehicle, and of course police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash, and that's why we're asking that question this morning. How much would you pay for a piece of history? So a remarkably complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton named Gus is expected to fetch up to $30 million US, which is around almost 500 million rand when it goes under the hammer at Sotheby's in New York City later this month. It was discovered on a cattle ranch in 2021 and is one of the most complete T-Rex skeletons ever found, and it could be the most expensive dinosaur fossil ever sold. Time for a celebrity wedding. Haven't we been starved of one of these for a long time? It's been called the closest thing America might have to a royal wedding. Pop superstar Taylor Swift is marrying the NFL star, some obscure little footballer, Travis Kelce. They're expected to tie the knot in a lavish ceremony in New York City. Reports suggesting around 1,000 guests are expected, including, of course, celebrities, musicians, and sports stars. Adam Gilchrist will give us more on that in the World View. All right, imagine seeing color when you've only ever seen black and white. Well, not so much in real life. Let me explain what I mean. In 1928, or at least until this day in 1928, people had only ever seen reflections of themselves on screen in black and white. It was on this day that Scottish inventor John Logie Baird stunned audiences in London by giving the world's first demonstration of color TV. And I've got some fun facts here, a list of fun facts of things you've always assumed have always been the way they are, but were not. Did you know, for example, what color are carrots? Amo?
Orange.
Mateo?
That's what I've always known.
Did you know for most of the carrot's history, it wasn't in fact orange? Carrots used to be mostly a cream white color, an off-white color, or purple. The orange variation was grown by Dutch growers in the 17th century to pay tribute to the Prince of Orange, such as the leader of the Netherlands was known, and from that day, carrots around the world went orange. Did you know, for example, high heels were the most masculine thing you could wear until the 7th century? Not only were high heels invented for men, they were in fact invented for soldiers, because you needed, almost like a platform shoe, you needed the high heels to be able to get your foot into horse stirrups. Flat shoes just didn't hold. And so for many centuries, high heels were about the most masculine thing you could wear. How funny has life changed, eh? Pink was the color for boys, blue the color for girls. Did you know that? Until the 1940s and 50s, red was seen as the color of blood and war, the god of war being Mars. Pink, as a shade of red, was then seen as the color for boys, whereas the blue sky with endless possibilities and dreams was the color of girls. And until advertising and marketers in the 40s and 50s changed it, that's what it was. Isn't that interesting on a Friday? Happy birthday to one of Hollywood's biggest action stars. Tom Cruise turns all of 64 years old today, born on this day in 1964.
702.
The newspapers.
With his pink phone, Swiss Zulu? No.
Wait.
Let's not. I'm looking at the front page of the Sowetan Swiss Zulu. Oscar's win won't stop SIU probe. This, of course, as a court has ruled that Fort Hare should not have deregistered the Eastern Cape Premier, but it's on a technicality, you see, not so much the merits of the case. The Citizen, migrants, how to fix it. Mail and Guardian, illegal weight loss drug floods South Africa. And the Business Day is running with court orders Cape Town to make a plan. This is about affordable housing in Cape Town. What have you got, Swiss Zulu, internationally?
Interesting headline on the BBC News website. Japan's youngest female mayor has sparked nationwide debate by taking maternity leave, which is a first for the country, and a lot of people are split about that decision.
Those are the newspapers.
EWN Business.
Mateo wants to know, have you left a friendship circle, a WhatsApp group, because your views were simply not aligned? What prompts that question?
Well, Business Unity South Africa has decided to withdraw from the Unemployment Insurance Fund structures at NADLAC and remove its representatives from the UIF board. Now, the organization says the decision comes after 6 years of raising concerns about poor governance, operational failures and delays in reform. The UIF is a South African government fund that provides short-term financial relief to workers who become unemployed or who are unable to work due to illness, maternity, adoption, or parental leave. Now, it also pays out benefits to the dependents of deceased workers. Now, despite repeated proposals to improve the UIF, BUSA says little progress has been made. According to BUSA, contributors are experiencing long delays, poor service, and increased administrative hurdles. Now, during the agency's COVID-19 Relief Fund audit in 2020, the then Auditor General at the time, Kimi Makwetu, flagged issues such as payments to deceased people, duplicate payments, overpayments, and government officials applying and benefiting from the scheme. Last year, Parliament's Select Committee on Economic Development and Trade was told that the UIF distributed around 800 million rand in TERS funding, yet over 200 million rand remained unaccounted for. Abusa has called on the Minister of Employment and Labour to place the UIF under administration, appoint an independent administrator to restore effective operations and clear outstanding claims. It also wants forensic investigations to see how UIF funds have been spent so
if
far.
only they could be as tough on the UIF as they are on the PSA, hey?
Yep.
With the rand?
16 Rand 21 against the US dollar in a better position this morning. 18 Rand 55 against the euro. 21 Rand 66 cents against the British pound. Price of gold is up 1%, $4,177 an ounce. Platinum up more than 2% at $1,655. Brent crude still low at $72 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to the news desk we go. Good morning again, Sfiso Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Housing activists say judgment on the sale of the former Tafelberg site sends a clear message that public land should not be sold to the highest bidder. Ndifunukwazi's comments follow the Constitutional Court's ruling yesterday, declaring the sale of the former Tafelberg school property in Sea Point unlawful. The court said that location must be treated as a relevant factor to deal with spatial injustice inherited from apartheid and not only distance from the CBD. The NPO's Buhle Boy says the ruling is a major victory for former occupants and housing activists who've spent the past decade campaigning against the sale of the site.
We're happy. We'll read the judgment further and I'm continuing the conversations. It has set precedence. It's a landmark judgment that will tell all other cities in terms of how they should use public land. Going forward, that public land is not a mere commodity. It's not something to be sold to the highest bidder.
KwaZulu-Natal police say more planned marches against illegal immigration will be closely monitored. Anti-immigration group March and March announced that it will be protesting every Thursday for the next 6 months until government sorts out what it describes as a broken immigration system. The group demonstrated across the country this week, calling for undocumented migrants to leave South Africa. Provincial Police Representative Phumelelo Makoba has assured they have enough capacity to respond to any situation.
As a province, we've always been dealing with protests. This time of the 30th of June has not been the first time and definitely is not the last time we'll be handling unplanned protests.
Business Unity South Africa has withdrawn from the Unemployment Insurance Fund structures at the National Economic Development and Labour Council, and it's removed its representatives from the UIF board. The business organisation cited what it describes as years of governance failures and poor service delivery at the fund as reasons for the move. Busa says it has spent the past 6 years trying to reform the UIF through NEDLAC processes, but claims little progress has been made in addressing operational failures and delays in benefiting payments. Annalita Fandese reports.
Busa says the decision was necessary to protect the integrity of its representatives and to send a clear message that the current situation at the fund is unsustainable. The organisation has called for the UIF to be placed under administration and for an independent forensic investigation into the fund's spending and governance practices. The Department of Employment and Labour has previously acknowledged challenges at the UIF, but says reforms are underway to improve governance, modernise systems and strengthen oversight. Annalita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
And a man has died after setting himself on fire outside the New York headquarters of the United Nations. He has been identified as a pro-Tibet campaigner. The president of the International Campaign for Tibet says the man was a tireless advocate against China's new law on promoting ethnic unity and progress that Beijing says aims to forge a shared national identity among ethnic groups. Overseas campaigners have argued it will further degrade the rights of ethnic minorities like Tibetans that Beijing is accused of persecuting. A fine Friday in store for Gauteng, and with cold reported in some parts of the province. The temperatures are at lows of -2 and 0 degrees, peaking at highs between 15 and 17.
And in the traffic, we still have got that accident in Kempton Park along the R21 South that happened after Atlas Road. It's causing delays. There's also queuing traffic along the N3 North. This is just as you leave either Elands interchange towards the Kidulis interchange, and that's due to roadworks taking place along that route.
The top story this hour, housing activists say judgment on the sale of the former Tuffelsburg site sends a clear message that public land should not be sold to the highest bidder.
Winter has entered the chat, and honestly, nobody wants that. Cold tiles, foggy windows, that one room nobody wants to sit in, and a dog who is pretty sure this is somehow your fault. Luckily, Chamberlain's winter savings are here from 18 June to 12 July. Warm up your home with great deals on heaters, firewood, anthracite, geyser blankets, insulation, paint, and more. Plus, stock up on Jog dog food for only 398 Rand. Because they might not like winter, but they'll love that. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people for the people Sunday 26 July. There are 3 different inner city routes. The 5K Victoria Yards route takes you from Ellis Park through the inspirational Joburg Cricket Club into Victoria Yards, past the famous Troyville Hotel. You can then, of course, finish off at Ellis Park. So whether you're taking part in the 5, 8 or 15 kilometers, enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
It's that time of the year. Sore throats, congestion, wet and dry coughs, pain and fever. For trusted relief for you and your family, ask your pharmacist to recommend a winter survival pack from the Adcock Ingram OTC range. With products like Medikil A, Expigen, Corenza Parac, Adco Napamol, Dilinct Junior and more, we have you covered this winter. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
You get online day trading, and then particularly in what people call CFDs, contracts for difference. What kind of complaints are you getting at your office?
The type of complaints we get is people that are registering for day trading, they lose millions, and then they come to us and complain and say, they want their money back. They were misled.
Advocate John Simpson, the fires ombud.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa Rewards. Get double cash back depending on your rewards tier when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026, courtesy of Visa. Use your Absa Visa card at rewards partners on match days to score. Join Absa Rewards on the banking app. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Coming up in the next hour, What's the Question? Brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. All you need to do is send us an answer based on something you heard in the show that piqued your interest. For that, you win 1,000 Rand. WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Later, someone else will ask a question to get to your answer, and for their troubles, they'll win 2,000 bucks. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani and team, and happy Friday. Have I ever lost friends because of political views? Yes. Now, during the March and March episodes, because I just refuse to believe that chasing people away is going to solve the problems at the border. I lost friends because I kept telling them that what I believe is that we voted for the wrong people for 32 years, and now we think that chasing illegal immigrants away is going to solve everything. We need to go for the right people. And there are people not speaking to me because of that, because they say I'm speaking from a place of privilege. I'm not speaking from a place of privilege. I'm speaking from a place of logic as far as I'm concerned.
Good morning, breakfast team. For me, that conversation was vaccinations, whether it should be compulsory or not. It was just a no-starter for me. My daughter is immune compromised, and I cannot for the life of me get that people don't want to take vaccinations. Take vaccinations and protect those who cannot protect themselves. COVID was an absolute nightmare for us because a simple cold could have sent her to the hospital. Thanks, team.
Gosh, we're talking about those conversations that have resulted in friendship explosions, be it political or otherwise. Vaccinations, absolutely. People disagreed on that. Migration, I couldn't agree with that voice note more. I mean, it's as if I scripted it, right? And I've certainly lost friends over Gaza. Have you?
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira in the studio for Cindy Paluta. We're also asking Anthony, the worst offense you committed in your home as a child. I mean, the one where your parents would justifiably have been correct to strangle you.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, Bongani. This one comes up quite often at home.
Is it still sore?
Can I tell you, so sore. And it wasn't even my mom's. It was my godmother. She had this beautiful marble table in her lounge. And
coffee table.
It was, a little coffee table, marble, beautiful, exquisite. And, little 7-year-old me wanted to prove just how strong I was because my grandmother insisted I wasn't strong enough to lift the marble table. Turns out she was right.
Hi, Anthony.
And I lifted it off the table and I put it on the ground and did a little dance. And when I went to pick it up, I just didn't have the strength and it fell to the floor and it shattered. And yes, it comes up fairly often.
What was the consequence?
The consequence was, I'm going to be honest with you, I've never seen my godmother or grandmother act that way. They didn't speak to me. They didn't react. There was just dead silence in the house. And they both left the TV room, the living room, and they went outside for a good 2 hours. I just think they were trying to process it. And they didn't talk about it on the day. They didn't tell anybody. And it was like 2 weeks later. And then the consequences was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
In those days,
yeah,
I might have had a meeting with the belt.
Mm-hmm. Wooden spoon in our house.
Smacky Sam,
Mm-hmm.
right? All right, let's talk about last night's FIFA World Cup results.
Well, we say last night, but it's still ongoing with the final match of the overnight fixtures at the FIFA World Cup. Round of 32 still underway. Switzerland have doubled up their lead at the start of the second half through Ndoye, currently 2-0 up against Algeria as they head into the final 10 minutes. In the first half, Mbolo slotted home after Manzabi had a winding, brilliant run down the right and a cutback.
Such lovely Swiss names.
Portugal with the comeback 2-1 win to advance through to the last 16 over Croatia. End of the road for the 2018 best player Luka Modric and his Croatian teammates, who had a stoppage time equalizer chalked off due to an offside. Here's the Portuguese captain Cristiano Ronaldo on his former Real Madrid teammate.
I played with Luka so many years. We nearly the same age. I think he's a legend of football. He's still a legend of football because he still play very well. And with the high quality, is unbelievable. And I just say to him so many times, Luka, congratulations for everything. I love to see you again. I wish you all the best for the next years of your career. And it was nice to play against him once again.
Elsewhere, Spain dominated in a 3-0 victory over Austria. In cricket, the Proteas women fell 40 runs short in the T20 World Cup semi-final against England. They reached 129 for 8 as they were chasing 170 for victory. Coach Amandla Mashimbi clutching at some positives from that performance and this campaign, which he felt never really got started.
Without trying to take anything for granted, I think if you get to the semis, you must have done something right. And I think we did do something right. Maybe not to the best way in terms of how we wanted to do it. But at the end of the day, you want to get World Cup wins, and we did get that. But I think today, you got to give credit to England. I think they were really good. They're incredible. And to be fair, two of the best teams in the tournament are in the final.
In rugby, the junior box secured back-to-back wins at the Under-20 Championship, one of 7 nations to remain unbeaten. They physically dominated the host Georgia 33-5. In tennis, the second round of Wimbledon ended Thursday. In selected results, men's 15th seed Jakub Menchik is out after struggling to handle Grigor Dimitrov. Unseeded Matteo Berrettini knocked out 20th seed Arthur Fils in 4 sets. In the women's draw, Ludmila Samsonova overcame Diana Schneider, and we did see Iga Swiatek advance through with a straight set victory over Caroline Pliskova.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy with the way I played, and I was pretty solid and focused and consistent throughout the whole match, which makes me happy.
Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
Cutting costs means more money for your business. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Marshall from Bow Electrical.
I was with my other insurance for many years, and then I switched to Outsurance Business Insurance. It was a one quick call. They give me a great cover and a great price. Give them a call. You have nothing to lose. I wish I have switched sooner.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Sporting Bet's Millionaires Cup is live, and your shot at up to 10 million rand is on the line. A pass, a tackle, a strike. Moments make the game. This one could make you. Take on a series of thrilling missions and climb your way to millionaire status with every stage of the tournament. Bet now at sportingbet.co.za. Could you be our next millionaire? Sporting Bet. Betting amplified. T's and C's apply. Sporting Bet is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No under 18s may gamble. WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710 or contact the SARGF toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008. Winners know when to stop.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hi, my name is Precious. I'm 12 years old. I learn at Arthur Matthews Primary School, and when I grow up, I'd like to be a doctor.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN.
13 to 7, the CWN traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. There are delays on the N3 North. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. Between the Elands interchange and the Kilulis interchange, at this moment, it could take you about 20 minutes to reach the Bedfordview area. There's also queuing traffic along the N12 and the R24 West due to an accident right at the merge. Delays coming out of Edenville Road. I'll have more details coming up shortly.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 93. The GPS language setting mysteriously changed to Greek. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Hi, this is Teko Modise, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Be a winner who knows when it's time for a timeout and play responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
So, the payments game has totally changed and businesses can now score with the new FNB Speedpoint range.
That's great news for business owners.
You get a low commission rate starting from 1.8% that drops to as low as 0.6% as your business grows.
I want to play for this winning team.
Get in the payments game with a bank that rewards your business for doing well. FNB, help changes everything. First National Bank, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz.
Let's give away some cash, shall we? We gave away 10,000 Rand yesterday. Can Precious make it 2 days in a row? Precious is 12 years old and goes to Arthur Matthews Primary School. Precious, anyone you want to say hello to?
No.
No? You just want to play the Whiz Quiz? Well, I tell you what, let's not get in your way, Precious. Let's play the Whiz Quiz. I love that no. I didn't know. KG, start the clock. True or false? There are 12 team members in a soccer team.
True.
It's false. Which South African city is known as the City of Gold?
Joburg.
Correct. True or false? A frog is an amphibian.
False.
It's true. What is the heaviest land animal in the world?
Elephant.
Correct. Which continent has a snake called the anaconda? Is it South America or is it Europe?
South America.
Correct. Which word means happiness? Novel or bliss?
Bliss.
Correct. What is the primary source of energy for the earth? Is it the sun or the moon?
Sun.
Correct. What is South Africa's national flower?
Protea.
Correct. Spell the word industry.
INDUSTRY.
Correct. What is the number? Oh, I can't complete the question. I cannot complete the question. Precious, not a bad round. Not a bad round. 700 Rand is what you walk away with. If you rate 10 to 13, ask your parents to enter you at primemediaplus.com. And we could be calling you to play the Whiz Quiz.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
702.
The Political Desk.
On to this now. Came up with some creative titles for the big political stories of the week. Passage to India. Remember that book? Jacob Zuma this week had tea with an old friend, one-time state capture fugitive AJ Gupta. And during the visit, Zuma says he believes he's now going to win future elections because the people of God are with him. The next title, KG? Return of the Mac. You lied to me. More than a decade after being removed from cabinet, former Communications Minister Dina Pule has returned as Minister of Social Development. Remember, of course, she was dismissed after findings that she had acted unlawfully and had lied to Parliament. So the old liar replaces the newer liar. And finally, that's what friends are for. The DA wants you to think that the recent remarks by former leader John Steenhuisen are a non-issue, if not sour grapes. But how much could or do these revelations show that powerful players within the Blue Party are just as eager to pull state levers for the benefit of their friends? We've invited journalist and political commentator Sam Mkokeli to wade us through these stories. Sam, a very good morning to you. Thank you for your time. You just really can't make this stuff up, can you?
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Good morning, Bongani, and the listeners. I'm starting with Jacob Zuma, but I guess he is Jacob Zuma.
I mean, he remains... I think the thing that struck me was that he remained unrepented, but also he's still influential. The idea of getting officials of the government without Durko's approval to be a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a ridiculous kind of development, considering the pain South Africans have felt because of our state capture. But he's being consistent. He's never distanced himself from the Gupta family, but probably also opportunistic. There's an election campaign, there's money to be raised. So that kind of thing, I mean, it is probably one of the motivations to get over there and pretend to be bigger than he really is.
So what, the Gupta money is still worth more than any potential political fallout?
Yeah, I mean, this is not something that's likely to even hurt him in his among his base. I mean, middle class South African, good South Africans will be offended by this, but in the bigger scheme of things, and people who will vote for him will vote for him, whether or not he's gone over there and he's done something that looks as offensive as this trip is.
All right, let's talk about somebody who said he would go a different path from Jacob Zuma, President Ramaphosa, bringing Dina Pule back into cabinet, a liar replacing a liar.
It's a bad joke, isn't it? And it actually, I mean, makes a whole mockery of the ANC's reform agenda and the whole new dawn that really never was. But Ramaphosa is playing real politics here instead of a good, proper and ethical leadership. That's what he is giving up. He's looking for somebody from the Women's League to rebalance party affections and party representation. She's a member of the NEC, and I mean, really, it's a disappointing move, as many people have commentated. But it is a shocking move, actually, if you could find somebody who was removed under the circumstances she was removed in. Remember, she had to go to Parliament to make a public apology in the Zuma era. If somebody were let go in the Zuma era for these kind of things, it tells you just how bad that person was back then. I mean, now to dig them out of the political dustbin to bring them back into cabinet, I mean, really, it makes Ramaphosa's life quite difficult in presenting himself as somebody who's different to Zuma.
You can talk about Ramaphosa's calculations, but there was a suited Fikile Mbalula yesterday defending this appointment, saying South Africans don't want to punish somebody forever. What does this do to brand ANC even beyond Ramaphosa as president?
Yeah, it's a tough one actually for the ANC. I mean, they're not changing themselves from the Zuma ANC. This is actually their biggest thing, and there are real issues around the economy, and people are struggling. No, so let's just give up opportunities to rebrand themselves. They are on brand. The difference here is that there is Ramaphosa who's in charge of the ANC, but is doing exactly what a Jacob Zuma would have done.
I mean, talking about what a Jacob Zuma, or at least his ANC, might have done, the Blue Party now in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, no less than former leader John Steenhuisen saying his predecessor, or one of his predecessors, Tony Leon, essentially is also using his influence for the benefit of his friends.
Yeah, it's a lose-lose situation for the DA. And some people will ask, why is John Steenhuisen talking about these things now? It actually reveals quite a strong toxic nature of our leadership in the DA. You also wonder how he led the party first. If this is how he behaves now that he's in trouble and has been kicked out, you just start wondering how that cabinet, the DA aspect of the cabinet worked, how the party worked under him. It reveals quite a bit about his leadership. But then there's the other issue that he's talking about. We can't dismiss that because we have to look at John critically. These are real questions about Tony Leon's influence in the party. And the biggest issue was well articulated by Clement yesterday, Clement Manyatela, about state capture, and these are really serious questions. But how people... Yeah.
No, I was going to emphasize the point particularly about Starlink, because at one point, Tony Leon was one of the proposed potential ambassadors to Washington at a time when Elon Musk was very influential in the Trump administration. I mean, this isn't, firstly, John Steenhuisen isn't just, a disgruntled member, however sour the grapes may be for him at this moment. He's the former leader. He has intimate knowledge of how the party machinery runs in the background. And Tony Leon remains a very influential voice in terms of who stays and who goes in terms of the echelons of power in the DA.
Yeah, that is, the both statements are true. He is just a disgruntled former leader. That is the first. This would never have been an issue if he remained in the party. We don't know what he did to help Tony Leon in his business. And that's the first thing about John. But we can't dismiss what he's saying. These are very serious allegations of how Tony Leon's company uses his influence in the party. He denies it, but he still hasn't quite denied the political, moral, ethical issue around how his business operates and uses influence. I mean, these are state levers. It's quite a big issue. I mean, what they are accused of is just similar to what the ANC has always been accused of, using the party and proximity to particular businesses and even state capture.
And then, of course, the EFF leader, we are told, at least at the Madlanga Committee of Inquiry, that he tried to use his influence to shield a top cop from accountability.
Yeah, it runs us across. I mean, this just reveals that the whole party spectrum is ANC-like. I mean, these are things that we've seen. Okay, the ANC, I mean, they usually EFF and it's all ANC ultimately, but it's just a worrying trend in our politics, and we're not getting new politics. As the DA has always promised that it would do things differently. It's different from the ANC. But then immediately they took on the blue lights, and now they're behaving exactly the way the ANC did. Not only in the substance of what they are accused of, but in how they politic. It's really shocking that a party with 20% of the vote lacks maturity in handling something of this nature. In how Jordan Hill-Lewis removes a former leader of the party, and there is something very odd about how this thing is being managed, and that it just blows up publicly. And the DA used to claim to have a different political culture to the ANC. This, in fact, is worse. I mean, no ANC leader has spoken out against their party the day after their removal from a position. Mbeki went away quietly. Zuma went and licked his wounds for a good year.
Gosh, what a week in politics. Sam Mkokeli, journalist and political commentator.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
What does 250 years of American democracy mean not only for the US of A, but for the world? That conversation coming up.
This is EWN.
Jacob Zuma's visit to India sparks a diplomatic debate, and hundreds of Malawians gather in Durban with no idea where they will go next. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. There's growing scrutiny over the role played by South Africa's High Commissioner to India, Anil Suklal rather, during a visit by former President Jacob Zuma to the country. Photographs of Zuma with wanted fugitive Ajay Gupta have been circulated online this week. Questions have been raised about whether Suklal should have accompanied Zuma during the visit. But international relations expert Kingsley Makubela says the High Commissioner may have had little choice, as diplomatic missions are expected to provide official support to former heads of state who travel on diplomatic passports. He says disciplinary action against Suklal would only be justified if there was evidence that he advised or facilitated Zuma's meeting with Gupta. Makubela says the duties of a High Commissioner include extending official protocol and assistance to former presidents.
It would be unfortunate, actually, if they take action against Suklal because he's a diplomat. He wasn't giving services to the Guptas. He didn't go to see the Guptas. He went there to provide the service to Zuma as a former president, to extend the courtesy that is expected of the South African ambassador.
The ANC has defended newly appointed Social Development Minister Dina Pule, saying she cannot be punished for a mistake she made more than a decade ago. In 2013, Pule was fired by then-President Jacob Zuma after allegations that she used her role as communications minister to benefit her boyfriend. Since then, Pule has kept a relatively low political profile until her recent appointment to President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet. Speaking at a media briefing in Johannesburg yesterday, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula says Pule has redeemed herself and learned from her mistakes.
The process of renewal didn't say that you must punish people in perpetuity. The process of renewal says to us that you only reject the incorrigible. Is Dinah incorrigible with all what I've mentioned? Or you argue the question of, it's too soon for her to come back. Is there a resolution that if you made a mistake and you are rehabilitated, you can never come back and assume office?
The Western Cape government has 3 months to submit plans for affordable housing to the High Court following a scathing judgment from the country's top court that it's failed to make adequate housing available in the inner city of Cape Town. The court said yesterday that location must be treated as a relevant factor to redress the spatial injustice inherited from apartheid and not only distance from the CBD. In response to the judgment on the unlawful attempted sale of the Tafelberg school site in Sea Point, Infrastructure MEC Tertius Simmers says he will soon present a ministerial policy statement on transformation and affordable housing reform. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
The Constitutional Court yesterday set out clear timeframes for the provincial government to present their affordable housing programs, policies and plans to the court for consideration. The court will want to assess the schedule of affordable housing projects in the areas within the CBD that have been completed since the case was first launched in 2017. Those currently under construction and those that are under consideration. The matter may again be enrolled for hearing for the court to make further determinations. Justice Nonkosi Mahlanhla handed down the Constitutional Court's ruling.
It is declared that the province failed to meaningfully engage with the public and hold a meaningful public participation process in relation to the disposal of the Tafelberg property.
Infrastructure MEC Tertius Simmers says the provincial government will continue to pursue practical reforms that expand access to affordable housing while supporting inclusive economic growth and sustainable urban development. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
And stranded Malawian nationals camping outside the Durban drive-in site say they were misled by their landlords not to leave the country ahead of the 30 June demonstrations. At least 300 of the migrants spent the night outside the site near North Beach, where they were housed by the eThekwini municipality last month. Most of them say they fled their homes, citing safety concerns after widespread anti-illegal immigration marches that happened on Tuesday. Hlantla Mabaso reports.
Last night, over 300 people, including women and children, braved cold weather, urging government to respond to their cries. They say they need shelter, food and other humanitarian aid. When asked why they did not take advantage of the provided buses last month, this is what Enrique Zeku had to say.
Most of the landlords deceived us and told us that there will be no any other problem when we are there, because we were working nice with them. That's why we stayed. But all of a sudden, we saw that some of the landlords have changed their mind and they are sending us away.
This Malawian also echoed his sentiments.
We never leave the way we are staying. Because the landlord, they told us, no, don't leave it. We're going to protect you. And then we was waiting there. Now, on 30 June at night, some of us, we sleep outside because there was walking door by door.
And as hours pass, more and more Malawians have been arriving to join the group here. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
Gold is trading at $4,175.91 an ounce. The rand's at 16.20 to the dollar, 21.66 to the pound, 18.54 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $72.24 a barrel.
There's been an accident on the N12 and the R24 West heading towards Bedford View. It happened right after Edenville Road, about a 20-minute hold up there. The N12 West, as we speak, is having delays coming out of Croft Road all the way towards the R24 merge. So do expect heavy traffic volumes there. If you want to avoid this backlog, please try to use the N17 West into areas like Germiston. Then traveling on the M1 North, we've got delays between Boyson's Road and Carr Street.
And in your sport, Proteas women stumble in the T20 World Cup semi-final to England. Well, we've had wins at the FIFA World Cup overnight for Spain, Portugal and Switzerland. And Manny Lubbock gearing up for a clash against England as he plays for the Springboks at Ellis Park Saturday afternoon.
It's a freezing Friday today in Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 0 and 2 degrees, peaking at highs between 15 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: there's growing scrutiny over the role played by South Africa's High Commissioner to India, Anil Suklal, during a visit by former President Jacob Zuma to the country.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock. I mean, he may not care very much, but what will voters think? Sam Mkokeli says this visit by Jacob Zuma, this middle finger as it were, is something his base won't be bothered about. But if he goes there and drinks tea with an old friend and maybe collects a few rand for some favors he might be owed, maybe they had a whole conversation about where the money went, right? The state capture funds. Some of it never came back. Do you think Ubaba went to go collect more than just biscuits and tea? Hey? I want you to listen to the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, particularly, of course, about the role of officials in facilitating this visit, including our High Commissioner to India, Anil Suklal, who accompanied the former president on this visit and to this high tea.
Does impact us negatively that the former heads of state will be running a parallel foreign policy to the South African government. When the president of South Africa goes anywhere, he is mandated through internal procedure of the state and of government. There are processes that are followed. There is a mandate. So a former president does not have all those processes. So really he can't be representing the South African government anyway. So these are issues that we'll have to filter through. We are waiting for a report internally to see how it happened and what was the purpose, what are the implications in terms of our Foreign Services Act. But we need to explain that, as you are aware, former presidents are entitled to privileges, and some of their privileges include facilitation through our diplomatic protocols. So we will have to inquire, and that's what we're inquiring, to find out how did this happen, what informs it, what was the nature of the visit, and what was the nature of the involvement of our High Commissioner in India.
One of the things that stuns me, Amo, about being a parent is whenever I find out my child who's in high school is learning things I only found out about at varsity, I'm always amazed.
Yeah.
Trias politica. That's something I learned at varsity. The separation of powers. The idea that we've got the legislature, parliament, that makes the laws. We've got the executive that enforces those laws, and the courts that apply them. But whether it's taught in varsity or high school, it seems that's something the ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula doesn't fully get. Have a listen to what he is arguing about migration. He's saying the ANC has tried to solve this problem, but every time they try, these civil society organizations take them to court. And then what can they do? Who makes the laws? Who's been the party that has been dominant for the last 32 years making the laws? Who's been enforcing those laws? The courts only interpret and apply. They say, according to your own laws, this is what you are supposed to do. He doesn't seem to get trias politica.
Time and again, when this government has moved to enforce immigration law, it has been dragged to court. That answers the question. You are not doing anything and all of that. You are not acting to deal with illegal immigrants. Not to make it deport, but to stop it. When the government moved to end the Zimbabwe exemption permit dispensation, the Helen Suzman Foundation took the Minister of Home Affairs to court, Comrade Motsoaledi, and in June 2023, it happened here in South Africa. The High Court in Pretoria set that decision aside as unlawful, shielding some 178,000 Zimbabwean permit holders from removal. A ruling the government then lost on appeal. The Scalabrini Center, Lawyers for Human Rights, and others have over many years repeatedly and successfully approached our courts to constrain removals and to protect the rights of migrants and asylum seekers. This is the truth. The slogan hides. The ANC government has often been doing so much on immigration that the courts themselves have had to rein it in. You cannot, in the same breath, sue the government for deporting and then accuse it of doing nothing.
Does that make sense? they make the laws. When the courts interpret and apply the laws they have made, he blames civil society organizations. Make it make sense.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
An extraordinary story coming out of Thailand. An 11-year-old boy essentially plunged a vehicle that he had taken without his parents' permission into a procession of monks and worshippers in the northeastern part of that country. The group was taking part in a traditional pilgrimage when the child reportedly lost control of the vehicle, and we now know 8 monks have been killed and at least 10 others were injured. $30 million is the price. A remarkably complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton named Gus is expected to fetch when it goes under the hammer at Sotheby's in New York later this month. That's almost 500 million rand. And on this day in 1992, FIFA officially readmitted South African football, readmitting SAFA, the South African Football Association, after a 31-year suspension during apartheid. And what are those things that have changed so completely? We've forgotten they were ever different. I told you about the color of carrots. They were originally around purple and a cream whitish color before they were turned into orange, sometimes even yellow. Tennis balls weren't always yellow. Did you know that? It was only when the introduction of color television, or at least color television, made it difficult for you to see the white balls, and so they had to change them into a different color so you'd be able to watch the broadcasts. We're talking also, of course, about the Scottish inventor John Baird, who stunned audiences in London on this day in 1928 when he introduced the world's first color television set. And one album, one voice, an entire genre changed. On this day, in 1995, a 21-year-old D'Angelo released his debut album, Brown Sugar. It blended classic soul, funk, and R&B into a fresh new sound. And it's what has inspired a generation of other artists, including people like Jill Scott, Tyler, the Creator, and, of course, one Maxwell.
EWN Traffic.
Up next, we look back on 250 years of American democracy. This EWN Traffic, though, brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 rand. That crash in Edenvale, how bad is it?
Bongani, it's a major accident scene. It's on the R24 West. It's causing delays coming out of Edenvale Road. As a result, we've got delays as well on the N12 West. This is all the way from Croft Road towards the scene, which is on the N12 and the R24 merge. It's causing about a 30-minute hold-up, so please be on the lookout there, or try to use the N17 West into Germiston to try and avoid this backlog. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Outsurance knows insurance isn't tested on promises, it's tested when it's time to claim. The Ombudsman, an independent body that rules on complaints, confirmed in their 2025 annual report that Outsurance had the lowest overturned ratio of complaints received. So are you with the insurer that treats their clients the fairest? Outsurance delivers when it's time to claim. So why don't you switch for peace of mind? Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za today. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
Tomorrow, of course, the US of A turns 250 years old. A nation born out of revolution, built on the promise of liberty. But has it kept up to those ideals?
But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
Long seen, of course, as the world's leading democracy, it reaches this milestone in history tomorrow. But instead of a moment of unity, the celebrations are unfolding against a backdrop of deep political division. But It being America, the spectacle will be enormous. There's a giant state fair in Washington, D.C. There'll be celebrations from Times Square to Los Angeles. They're planning the biggest fireworks display ever attempted, with over 860,000 fireworks set to light up the American skies. And at the center of it all is the current president, Donald Trump, remaining as ever a divisive figure. We've invited Tembisa Fakute, who's a senior researcher and director at the Africa-Asia Dialogues, to talk us through this. I appreciate your time and thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
America turns 250 years old, long lauded as the world's oldest democracy. 250 years? Has America been a force for good in the world, do you think?
Well, the jury's out after what has happened. I attended a function not long ago, and the priest at the function said, try at all times to end well, because it's the ending that determines your success. And right now, it's very difficult to say precisely what America has achieved because of what Donald Trump has done. He has disrupted the usual, whether it's socio-politically and economically around the world. He has created an uncertainty all over the world, impacted on lives of millions of people around the world, continued with the foreign policy of the United States, which has blindly supported terrorism, particularly in the Middle East, supporting Benjamin Netanyahu, who has gone on to create and cause the genocide that we've all watched in real time. So it's a mixed bag of achievements, and unfortunately right now all of us are to an extent blinded by what Donald Trump has done to the world. But having said that, Americans have managed to export excellent products and services, television, art, food, music, fashion, and they have, of course, purported, notwithstanding, to be the defenders of liberties around the world. They have, for a very long time, sponsored organizations that seek to protect and promote freedom of expression, democracy, etc. But Donald Trump, unfortunately, has brought in a very dim and dark spotlight to the achievements of the United States of America in the world.
The American Constitution, of course, begins with the lofty phrase, we are the people, we the people of the United States. This moment, this Trump dark moment, as you call it, what has it meant for the people of America?
It has also meant that, for everyone, never take democracy for granted. This is a work in progress. You have to continually get involved in terms of promoting it. And if you don't, and I think it's also a lesson for South Africans, for that matter, that these democracies and freedoms that were fought for by our forefathers are not guaranteed to last forever. There are people who view democracies in a different way, who like to see people deprived of democracies, and this is precisely what's happening in the United States at the moment. Americans have taken it for granted that freedoms are there, and they don't have to get involved in terms of actively protecting it. That's one. Number two is, I also think at the same time that the significance of constituencies and the constituency, I think what makes America survive at the moment are the trappings and all the safety nets of a democracy. So notwithstanding, we've got all of these cracks, but it is the same democracy that's responding. It's the same democracy that's catching Donald Trump, as is the case in South Africa, for example. That we have a working democracy that's flexible, and these shock absorbers that get tested now and then, they respond. And we see what's happening in the United States. We see the democracy and we see the Constitution of the United States responding now and then, which means, therefore, that it's important for us to have proper working democracies in South Africa. Same thing has been happening, notwithstanding this march and all other disruptions that we see happening. But we've got a constitution that responds.
How much can dirty politics muddy the ideals of a constitutional democracy? And I'll give you two examples to illustrate that question. One, we often laud our constitutional court for being about jurisprudence and the rule of law, whereas in America, the Supreme Court really at this point is about which side of the ideological divide the justices fall under in terms of the decisions and the rulings it often makes. And then, of course, we have seen this division of American society as either left or right and very little in between.
Well, the difference, and I won't say it's the judicial in America is divided between conservatism and liberalism, and that's very important for us to note. These are still, by and large, good men, notwithstanding their personal beliefs, but they still do believe in the rule of law. And we've seen many of them, notwithstanding what Donald Trump had hoped for in the past, really judging and coming up with judgments against Donald Trump, who had thought that they were his men, in inverted commas. So democracy, by the way, is clumsy and it's dirty, and it has to be dirty. It's a pull and push. Without this clumsiness of democracy, there is no proper functioning of what is democracy. You are expected in a democracy to have people throwing stones and bending things and protesting all the time and turning up towns and cities around, because that's what democracy is. And after that, you have a competition of power for a place of power in which whoever is elected will rule. So we see that happening in America at the moment. The demonstration of what these shock absorbers I've talked about are doing at the moment. It is pulling and pushing. And eventually, of course, they're all going to go to the midterm elections. We'll see what's going to happen. Whether the majority that elected Donald Trump will have a different position this time around. But it's also interesting at the same time as a student of politics to be and social sciences to be watching what's happening in the United States, to see this democracy really functioning, having them, again, democratic Americans elected not only Barack Obama before Donald Trump, but they also now elected Donald Trump. Chalk and cheese in terms of their leadership styles.
Another stress test perhaps would be economics. America has sold itself for a long time as a land of opportunity. The idea that anyone, regardless of where they come from or what they look like, can build a better life. But there's also an underbelly that we don't often see, certainly in the movies, of poverty and blight in urban areas. And then we're seeing now a small group of powerful billionaires and corporations wielding somewhat what someone might argue is undue influence over American politics. This oligarchy where wealth increasingly translates into political power. What do you make of that?
Well, it's our responsibility to go back to basics in terms of capitalism and its basic tenets. We've moved from feudalism in the past, where certain characteristics determined how people should do business, and it limited to an extent the proceeds thereof. Capitalism, on the other hand, is evolving, and I don't see them, at least from where I sit, breaking the law. What they're doing is they are maneuvering and manipulating the existing system.
Not sure the experience there.
I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe a button gone wrong. Final question to you, Tembisa Fakute. Lessons for South Africa. As you've pointed out, American democracy has had these shock absorbers. It has been stress tested, its institutions, its founding principles. What lessons do we learn as a young but equally boisterous democracy?
We learn that protest is healthy. We learn that democracy is clumsy. We learn that there's pull and push. We must accept that our democracy will always be tested and our shock absorbers will always be tested. Is how we respond to it. The last note I'd like to make, by the way, which I think will from now on determine 4th of July, is that today is the beginning of the funeral or burial of Ali Khamenei, in Iran. This is going to go on for the next 5 days. So from now on, the celebrations of July the 4th are going to coincide with the death of one of the greatest leaders of the greatest civilization. Now we have to see what that's going to do, where it's going to bring what is going to dim the limelight of the 4th of July henceforth, which has always for 250 years been directed at the United States. I see a new competition in geopolitics in terms of this particular day, which has been solely and for a very long time reserved for the American celebration and commemoration.
Tembisa Fakude, appreciate your time. Senior Researcher and Director at Africa-Asia Dialogues.
EWN
Business news now with Muteo Khwaripe. Muteo, Google announcing new investment projects on the continent.
Yeah, Google has announced new projects to boost digital growth across the continent after it exceeded its 5-year goal of investing $1 billion in Africa. The initiatives include a new connectivity hub in South Africa's Eastern Cape to improve the internet capacity, Africa's first applied AI lab in Ghana, and a 3 million rand digital innovation center in Soweto. Google will also support 15 South African startups through its accelerator program and launched an AI storytelling initiative with Idris Elba's Akuna Group to try help train underrepresented creators. The company says the investment aims to improve internet access, support innovation, and help Africa benefit from growing artificial intelligence opportunities.
Pick n Pay turns to AI. Void?
South African retailer Pick n Pay has launched an artificial intelligence-powered shopping assistant that helps customers build grocery orders using voice, text, or photos instead of searching for products manually. The move is part of a drive by South Africa's second biggest retailer by revenue to strengthen its online offering as it pursues a turnaround after years of weak trading and market share losses to larger rivals like ShopRite and Checkers.
Your indicators?
Well, the JSE was up 836 points yesterday. The rand this morning, 16 rand 20 against the US dollar, 18 rand 55 against the euro, 21 rand 66 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,178 an ounce, or platinum is up 2% at $1,655. Brent crude at $72 a barrel. More business after 8.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu, what do you have at this hour?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. It's emerged that women may be entering South Africa's workforce in greater numbers, but the climb to the top remains far from equal. The latest Commission for Employment Equity report shows women continue to be underrepresented in boardrooms as well as in executive positions, despite years of employment equity legislation aimed at transforming the workplace. The findings come as government prepares to introduce sector-specific employment equity targets that are designed to improve representation in senior management. Anelita Fandese has the details.
The latest Commission for Employment Equity report shows that while women have made gains in the workplace, they remain concentrated in lower and middle management positions, with far fewer represented at senior levels. The report identifies persistent barriers to advancement and says more needs to be done to create leadership pathways for women across sectors of the economy. The Commission says achieving gender equality in the workplace remains critical to South Africa's broader transformation agenda. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
Housing activists say judgments on the sale of the former Tafelberg site sends a clear message that public land should not be sold to the highest bidder. Ndifunukwazi's comments follows the Constitutional Court's ruling yesterday that declared the sale of the former Tafelberg school property in Sea Point unlawful. The court said that the location must be treated as a relevant factor to deal with injustices inherited from apartheid and not only distance from the CBD. The NPO's Boy says the ruling is a major victory for former occupants and activists who've spent the past decade campaigning against the sale of the sites.
I'm happy. We'll read the judgment further and I'm continuing the conversations. It has set precedence. It's a landmark judgment that will tell all other cities in terms of how they should use public land. I'm going forward. That public land is not a mere commodity. It's not something to be sold to the highest bidder.
Boy says the organization hopes to see a social housing project starting there soon.
This is a victory, but a victory for the working class people in this Sea Point, and we're hoping that we'll see social housing going up on that side, so that low-income earners can live closer to where they go to school, so that kids can live closer to better opportunities, to better schools.
KwaZulu-Natal police say more planned marches against illegal immigration will be closely monitored. Anti-immigration group March and March announced that it will protest every Thursday for the next 6 months until government sorts out what it describes as a broken immigration system. The group demonstrated across the country this week, calling for undocumented migrants to leave South Africa. Provincial Police Representative Phumelelo Makoba has assured they have enough capacity to respond to any situation.
As a province, we've always been dealing with protests. This time of the 30th of June has not been the first time, and definitely is not the last time we'll be handling unplanned protests.
Makoba says people have a right to demonstrate and police will always ensure they're safe.
The Constitution allows them that, and as the police, it's our responsibility and our constitutional mandate to maintain public order. So we will be dealing with them with the resources that we have.
And hundreds of rescuers in Venezuela have cheered and embraced after pulling a 43-year-old man alive from the ruins of a collapsed building 8 days after deadly earthquakes. The official death toll has risen to nearly 2,600 and huge numbers of people are still missing. Hanan Jill was brought out of a stretcher after a painstaking operation to extract him from the collapsed 7-story building where he worked as a security guard in Cachalamar, which is a coastal area almost entirely razed to the ground in the June 24 catastrophe. Teams from 7 countries, including Venezuela, Chile, the US, Portugal, Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Mexico, worked around the clock over 3 days to reach him. They provided him with more than 10 liters of water to keep him hydrated via a hose and installed a tube to provide him with oxygen. A fine Friday in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of -2 and 0 degrees and will peak at highs between 15 and 17 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy traffic volumes in the east of Joburg this morning. A major accident along the N12 and the R24 West right at the merge. Delays coming out of Edenville Road as well as Croft Road. About a 40-minute hold up there. If you're heading towards Bedford View or even Alexandra, please try to use the N17 West as an alternative. Although there's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between the Geldenhuys interchange and the Kilulis interchange.
The top story this hour, it's emerged that women may be entering South Africa's workforce in greater numbers, but the climb to the top remains far from equal.
From stunning goals to stunning upsets, stay on 702, K-Talk and EWN.co.za to stay up to date on the world's biggest tournament.
This week on MasterChef South Africa, the top 5 are back in white aprons for a mystery box challenge that feels close to home. The brief is all about taking a humble pantry staple and turning it into something extraordinary. They'll all be wearing Mateo hats, I wonder. This week at the center of the challenge is the Lucky Star Pilchard, an ingredient many South Africans know. The contestants need to elevate it, reimagine it, and show the judges that a humble tin from the pantry can become something creative, clever, and full of flavor.
Chef, how have you updated it and brought it to, 2026?
Look, I love fat cooks with pilchard inside them. So I grew up with my aunt taking the pilchard stew, stuffing it in fat cooks and deep frying it. So I took phyllo pastry, made a beautiful stew, stuffed it in a phyllo pastry, baked it. So now it's more healthier, it's not deep fried, and it's still light to have.
Catch MasterChef South Africa this Sunday at 6 p.m. on ETV. You can also stream it on EVOD at watch.evod.co.za.
Ready to go?
No, can't.
Your mother raised you. She can look after him for one day.
But he's just your baby.
He's 7.
Just your baby.
I've packed his favorite toy and blanket.
Okay,
Just grab his Hills food.
Always.
We know that you only want the best for your small dog, which is why Hills has developed expert, science-backed nutrition to meet the unique needs of small dogs and help them live their best lives across their longer lifespans. Hills Pet Nutrition. Science does more.
It's always the same with you. I want this, I need that, and somehow I am always the one paying for it. I think we need a little time apart. Not forever, just long enough for me to build some interest again. After all, distance makes the funds grow stronger.
Give your money time this July savings month. Open a Nedbank 32-day notice account in under 2 minutes and earn up to 7.55% interest with 0 monthly fees. Go to nedbank.co.za. See money differently. Nedbank, we're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Every day you trust the infrastructure around you, from the roads you drive, the buildings you enter, the bridges you must cross. But trust isn't built with concrete alone. Today, Clement Manyathela's show will be live from the Public Works and Infrastructure Summit hosted by the Council for the Built Environment in Modderfontein. Stay tuned as government and industry leaders come together to tackle South Africa's infrastructure challenges, strengthen public safety and explore practical solutions to restore confidence in the built environment. Brought to you by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure on 702.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
You know, I'm so tired of Fila's pep talk. I am so tired and drained. When they get 6 million to protect the illegal immigrants. No, these NGOs didn't take them to court. And when they're supposed to do the right thing to make sure these legal immigrants go back to their countries, then they have excuses.
Very good morning, Bongani. Bongani, does Fikile Mbalula telling us that ANC doesn't have a succession plan, where normally they're telling us ANC say it's a church, it's a big movement. Of course, we see that but we cannot be having ministers who lose public trust and also not doing what they're supposed to be doing and just being recycled. It can't be. They're supposed to be having a succession plan where young people will be learning from those who are in power, but that is not happening. They just keep putting these people who are misleading, who really don't want to take this country forward, recycling them over and over again. This is definitely unacceptable, Mushereba.
You know, this is what I don't like about the ANC. Saying someone made a mistake when they defrauded the South African public. This is why people shouldn't be let off with a slap on the knuckles. Put people in jail where they belong. Make an example. Strong moral influence. If you steal from the public purse, you go to jail. And especially if you're a minister. What? The ANC are beyond shocking.
I'm scratching my memory and I'm trying to remember. I'm 4011 now, Amo. My memory is getting a bit sketchy over time. But I seem to remember that lying to Parliament is a crime. Misleading Parliament is a crime. And those are the people we're putting back into cabinet.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from David in Pretoria. David, please give us today's answer.
Good morning, Bongani. The answer is 1995.
1995. And tell me, David, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yes, Bongani, I am a member.
Your biscuit, 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. And thank you for the answer. David says the answer is 1995. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Question is certainly not when was Anthony Teixeira born.
Wow.
No, that's not the question.
No, not at all.
Because you are here to tell us about the Proteas women.
Yeah.
40 runs.
To be fair, it could have been a lot worse had we not snatched those 3 wickets at the start of the English innings.
Yeah?
Yeah, question marks all over the Proteas women. But yeah, a run of 3 successive ICC finals came to an end last night as they'll be losing the T20 World Cup semi-final by 40 runs to the hosts England. The South Africans were on top of the game early on. They had the English at 1 point, 23 for the loss of 3. That's till Nat Skever-Brunt and Heather Knight both scored half centuries, leading the English to 169 for 5. Proteas head coach Mandla Mashimbi saying that he felt it wasn't the bowling unit which lost control of the encounter.
I think Siva and Knight showed their experience there. They kind of like absorbed the pressure and they threw it back at us. That's what happens when you've got experienced players in the middle. They kind of like understand the situation they're in and what they need to do, and I thought they did it brilliantly. I thought we still did well to restrict them to 170. I was looking at 190 at the stage there.
In response, no one really hung around long enough with Tasman Brits, who struck a brilliant 51 as they only reached 129 for 8. In rugby, after playing in Japan, Mani Lubbock will return back to home soil when the Springboks tackle England at Ellis Park Saturday afternoon.
It was an awesome experience. It's awesome being that side with my wife. We really enjoyed Japan. Obviously, it's a different culture, something new to us. But obviously, the people are so kind that side. They made us feel at home from the word go, especially the team. They made it easy for us to fit in there. Yeah, we really enjoyed it.
The first match of the doubleheader will see the Springbok women starting their season against the USA. While in tennis, we saw Rybakina, Noskova, Anisimova and Swiatek all advanced to the Wimbledon third round, while in the men's Roche, Zverev, Koboli, Dominor and Fritz all picked up victories.
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
Cristiano Ronaldo has a first FIFA World Cup knockout goal as his Portugal came from a goal down to knock out Croatia 2-1 in the round of 32. It became the first match in the tournament's history which featured 4 disallowed goals, including a controversial stoppage time offside for Croatia.
It means a lot to us, not only because we won the game, but also the way. It was a difficult game. We knew it, that Croatia is a fantastic team. First half we dominate the game, and second half after the goal we get a little bit panic, and after the penalty I think it was a little bit better for us. We created a few chances, and I think in the end of the day we deserve to win the match.
European champs Spain beat Austria 3-0 with Oyarzabal scoring a brace. Well, in the last hour, we have seen Algeria crash out of the competition, a 2-0 loss to Switzerland. Remaining round of 32 games will kick off this evening with Egypt against Australia. Defending champs Argentina meet everyone's favourite winners Cabo Verde, and we have Ghana's Black Stars taking on Colombia. Bafana captain Ronald Williams revealed that coach Hugo Bruce kept his distance from the squad for 2 days following the opening 2-0 loss to Mexico. The keeper confessing that nerves got the better of them, with it being a first match at the tournament since hosting the showpiece back in 2010.
He left us for 2 days. He just let us be. We just had recovery training. The Monday after the game, we had a meeting and everything was shown. Good moments, the bad moments, how we can do better. And obviously we started watching the other games as well. And then you see what the level is at, the mistakes that we need to cut out. Because at this level, they'll punish you. It was a good wake-up call for us.
And one part of the competition which won't be carried forward, at least in Europe, will be the introduction of red cards for players covering their mouths when confronting opponents. UEFA confirming that the option to use the law in their various competitions won't be taken up, despite the law coming about following a high-profile incident in the UEFA Champions League when Benfica winger Gianluca Prestiani was found guilty of homophobic conduct when confronting Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. Paraguay's Miguel Almiron was the first player at the finals to be sent off in a group game against Turkey, and earlier this week we saw Ecuador's last 16 exit to the co-host Mexico have Piero Hincapié receiving his marching orders. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk.
EWN Traffic.
All right, 13 to 8. Let's catch up with the roads. Amo, what are you seeing at this hour? You were telling us about, I think, a crash on the N12 East. Yeah.
That is correct, Bongani. It happened right near the Reading interchange, about a 20-minute hold-up coming out of Kamara Street. Please be on the lookout there and drive with care. If you are traveling in Sandton, we've got an incident reported that it's actually a truck that is on its side along the M1 South coming out of Marlborough Drive towards Grayston Drive, and it's causing heavy traffic volumes as a result. Please try to avoid this one. You can still use the N3 North or the N3 South towards areas like Alexandra. And then traveling in Sunning Hill, unfortunately, another accident reported on the N1 North that happened right near the Baku interchange. Delays as you come out of the Rivonia Road exit. While traveling in the east of Joburg this morning, traffic is heavily backed up in the area, particularly around the Glulies interchange. This is due to a major accident seen on the N12 West right at the R24 merge. Delays coming out of Croft Road, that's on the N12, and then on the R24, delays are out of Edenvale Road. As a result, the N3 North is also backed up, so delays from the Heldenes interchange towards the Glulies interchange. Please try to use the N17 West through Germiston if you want to avoid the backlog. We'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what is the question? If the answer is 1995. Let's go to Tabs in Polokwane. Tabs, what's the question?
Morning. The question is, in which year was the album Brown Sugar by D'Angelo released?
Oh man, it was the birth of Neo Soul, was it not? A seminal album that influenced a generation of artists to come after him. Of course, tragically, D'Angelo is no longer with us. Tabs, 2,000 Rand is coming your way.
Baby, making love constantly, that's why my eyes are a shade blood burgundy. The way that we kiss isn't like any other way that I be kissing when I'm kissing. What I'm missing, won't you listen? Brown sugar, babe, I guess high up your love, I don't know how to behave. Brown sugar. I want something brown sugar.
Oh man, they just don't make it like they used to, do they? D'Angelo releasing his seminal album Brown Sugar this day in 1995. And of course it features the hits Brown Sugar, Lady, and even his own version of the old Smokey Robinson classic, Cruisin'. Now, the electricity price increase may have dropped a bombshell on your budget. You won't be cruising on that one, will you? You can switch to Outsurance and you could drop your car insurance premium. You could save big, like 48-year-old Sylvia, who saves a mind-blowing 802 Rand a month on her 2019 BMW X1. Why pay more when you could pay so much less and save? Get a quote to switch to Outsurance today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Lace up your tackies and join Proudly South African at this year's 702 Walk the Talk. So while you're soaking up the G's, swing past their activation point to cool down, say hazat to your favorite mascot, Lolo Warona, and celebrate 25 years of choosing local. Because every time you buy something that's loved here, made here, you're backing local businesses, supporting jobs and helping South Africa grow. Proudly South African, 25 years of choosing local together.
What is your business here?
You didn't start your business to play it safe. You took the leap, made the bold move, and now it's time to make the next one. Next week, 702 and Budget Business Insurance are giving small businesses the chance to win their share of 100,000 Rand with the Budget BizBucks Bonanza. Enter on primemediaplus.com. Tell us about the boldest move you've ever made in your business and what your next one will be. Then get an obligation-free Budget Business Insurance quote. 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa could call you. Budget Insurance is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Happy Friday to the breakfast team. The sin that I have committed at home was not to go to school. I shall not attend classes for 6 months of my matric year. Yeah, I got a good beating. And after that beating, I threatened to take my parents to the police.
Yo, you're taking me back. Telephone. You know, my grandmother's telephone had a key that she could lock, but we had a way of dialing and getting through, even though the phone was locked.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Oh my goodness, we had so much fun a little earlier on. You can still keep those voice notes coming, by the way. The worst offenses you committed in your home as a child. And yes, Amo, dialing those numbers, it was those square handsets.
Yes,
that had
a
the
key.
But I think if you pressed star, I don't know what else, and hash quickly,
Yes.
it could then open up the line for you to dial and make a phone call. And if it was locked, who was to say you had made those phone calls? Kabazela, of course, was a perfectly innocent child, never got himself into any trouble, no spot of bother whatsoever. Am I right?
Well, if these walls could speak, they would tell many, many stories. I think I was naughty, but I wasn't, naughty as in terms of a problem child.
Yes, you've always tried to look good, have you not?
To a degree, I suppose.
You've always wanted to be the better looking, right?
Well, I've always batted above my average when it comes to dating and dating women, I must say. And thank God I have a personality. Yes,
it would be a worry if you were the better looking one, hey?
You think about it, when you are in a relationship or you're seeking a partner, do you seek a partner that is your equal? So like maybe in terms of, if you had to compare the looks, you're kind of on the same level. Maybe you both a 6 or an 8 or whatever it may be. Or do you go for somebody that is less attractive than you or more attractive than you? This woman had an interesting take on it, and she thinks that it is better to go for a partner that is less attractive than you. And I mean, I think, who was it? Dr. Victor that wrote that song. If you marry a pretty, don't make a pretty woman your wife. Know that song.
I know exactly what you're
The
talking
lyrics
about.
escape me now. But yeah, let's take a listen to what she has to say, and then we can discuss it afterwards, Bongles.
Listen, I don't think you should be with a man that's better looking than you, okay? He needs to be a little bit ugly. And hear me out. Hear me out. Okay? And this has nothing to do with my man, because my man is actually very good looking. Him and I are like right here. We're right here. And he's getting better looking with age. And I feel like that's the thing with men, that they might start off like, but they get better looking. And we're the ones trying to catch up when we're in our 40s and 50s. But I do feel like the guy needs to be like a little quirky, a little bit less attractive than you, because he needs to be like, damn, a bitch that. Like, he needs to be like constantly trying to improve and chase after you, because when a man looks like a model, got money, he's over 6 foot, he's for the streets, he's for everybody. Like, what do you mean? No, he needs to be a little bit like,
Gosh. I mean, insecure much there. But yeah, let's have that discussion. So if you think back to your dating, have you been the less attractive one or the more attractive one in the relationship? And what's your preference? Like, You know, do you when you're walking in the shopping center, have you noticed that people will look at your partner and they don't even bat an eyelid at you?
Yeah, look, I mean, it can be
experience.
overwhelming if you are with somebody who is super, super attractive. But my rule of thumb is we can't both be unattractive. So my partner has to be better looking. We can't both be ugly. Hey? That's my rule of thumb. Kabazela. No. I mean, let's put it out there. Kabazela wants to know, do you go for people who are more attractive than you do? And what's it like to date somebody who's super attractive? Does it cause concern in your relationship? Has it caused issues? Be careful what you wish for.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask them for 500 Rand. To the very good looking Amo we go.
Thank you, Bongani. Well, we've got delays on the N12 East. That's due to a major accident scene right near the Reading interchange, delays from Komara Street. And we also have got another accident scene on the N12 R24 West merge. It happened right near the Glulies turn-off, delays from Craft Road. We'll have more details coming up.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
25 minutes listening to your favorite playlist goes by quickly, but 25 minutes stuck in traffic, well, it can feel quite long. Thankfully, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to save the days. Heroes in green and purple, easing traffic congestion for 20 years. The Outsurance pointsmen helping everyone get to where they need to be quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702. Feedback with Baphelile Sambo.
Baphelile Sambo, how do you answer Kabazela's question?
I know. I mean, I want you to answer it for me on my behalf. What do you think? What do you think I would go for?
You would probably need somebody more attractive, hey?
I know, yeah. Yes, Bongani, yes. They must be better looking for me.
How deep of you?
Man, because okay, anyway. From the producer's desk, before I say things that I'm not supposed to say on air, from the producer's desk, we've been laughing with Rofio following that question you asked on some of the craziest things you've done as a kid.
Were you a naughty child?
Not me. I've been the sweet child, like always. But hey, Kuning, let me tell you, we have some naughtiness within our team. One of us was that naughty kid when growing up. Rofiwa, my fellow producer there in the producer's desk, she shared a story about accidentally burning their neighbor's garage while playing with a boy named Trouble. I mean, his name was Trouble and Rofiwa was playing with Trouble and they burned the garage. So apparently they forgot that they even lit a fire and before they knew it, everything was gone. And I want, if Trouble is listening, Trouble must call us to tell us his version because according to Rofiwa, it was all Trouble's fault.
I hope Rafiwa's family are listening in case they don't know the full story of what burnt that garage. We'll take more of those fun stories. It's a Friday. How naughty were you as a child? And can you tell us examples?
This is EWN.
Jacob Zuma's visit to one of the Gupta brothers raises questions, and Fikile Mbalula comes to Dina Pule's defense. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. An international relations expert says former President Jacob Zuma's public appearance with wanted fugitive AJ Gupta in India has exposed gaps in South Africa's laws governing former heads of state. Kingsley Makubela says the current legal framework does not provide for consequences when a former president acts in a manner that undermines the interests of the country. His remarks come after pictures and footage of Zuma with Gupta in India recently. And in the footage, Zuma tells reporters he's visiting his friend, claiming Gupta was chased out of South Africa. Ajay Gupta and his brothers are wanted by South African authorities over allegations they looted billions of rand from the government. Demakatso Leshoro reports.
Former President Jacob Zuma was implicated by the Zondo Commission as having enabled state capture by the Gupta brothers, who are accused of looting billions of rand from state coffers. International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says Zuma, who continues to enjoy state privileges including paid-for travel and security detail along with a diplomatic passport, has shown little regard about the impact of his actions on the country's foreign policy. But the government is hamstrung as there is no provision in the rules governing former presidents, according to Dr. Kingsley Makubela.
The only time the president lose their pegs is when they are impeached and dismissed.
He says the controversy presents an opportunity for South Africa to review and amend the rules governing former presidents, tighten the conditions attached to their benefits, and close existing loopholes.
I'm not sure if there is an appetite to say, listen, there are loopholes that we're seeing, we ought to strengthen them.
Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
The ANC has defended newly appointed Social Development Minister Dina Pule, saying she cannot be punished for a mistake she made more than a decade ago. In 2013, Pule was fired by then President Jacob Zuma after allegations that she used her role as a communications minister to benefit her boyfriend. Since then, Pule has kept a relatively low political profile until her recent appointment to President Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet. Speaking at a media briefing in Johannesburg yesterday, ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula said Pule has redeemed herself and learned from her mistakes.
The process of renewal didn't say that you must punish people in perpetuity. The process of renewal says to us that you only reject the incorrigible. Is Dinah incorrigible with all what I've mentioned? Or you argue the question of it's too soon for her to come back. Is there a resolution that if you made a mistake and you are rehabilitated, you can never come back and assume office?
Trade Union Federation COSATU says heads must roll and those responsible for the sale of the Tafelberg site must be held accountable. The call comes after yesterday's Constitutional Court ruling that the sale of the Tafelberg site by the Western Cape government was unlawful and unconstitutional because of inadequate public participation. COSATU says the ruling is a victory for the rights to adequate housing, which it says should have been built on the site. Babalondenze takes a look.
The Constitutional Court found the Western Cape government wanting when it comes to meaningful public participation in the decision to sell a former school in Cape Town's seaside suburb of Sea Point, declaring the decision unconstitutional. COSATU labelled the ruling a monumental victory for the fundamental right to adequate housing, which the Federation has advocated for. Provincial Secretary Melvin de Bruyn says the judgment rejects the view that treats public land as mere commercial assets. He says action must be taken against those responsible for the sale.
COSATU is therefore calling for full accountability and that heads must roll. The officials and political office bearers who push this unlawful sale against all legal advice and public sentiment must face consequences.
The City of Cape Town's Carl Popham, mayoral committee member for human settlements, said much has happened over the last 8 years. He says the city also faced a major funding crisis during the period. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
And stranded Malawian nationals camping outside the Durban drive-in site say they were misled by their landlords not to leave the country ahead of the 30 June demonstrations. At least 300 of the migrants spent the night outside the site near North Beach, where they were housed by the eThekwini municipality last month. Most of them say they fled their homes, citing safety concerns after widespread anti-illegal immigration marches on Tuesday. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
Last night, over 300 people, including women and children, braved cold weather, urging government to respond to their cries. They say they need shelter, food and other humanitarian aid. When asked why they did not take advantage of the provided buses last month, this is what Enrique Seku had to say.
Most of the landlords deceived us and told us that there will be no any other problem when we are there, because we were working nice with them. That's why we stayed. But all of a sudden, we saw that some of the landlords have changed their mind and they are sending us away.
This Malawian also echoed his sentiments.
We never leave the way we are staying. Because the landlord, they told us, no, don't leave it. We're going to protect you. And then we was waiting there. Now, on 30 June at night, some of us, we sleep outside. Because there was walking door by door.
And as hours pass, more and more Malawians have been arriving to join the group here. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
Gold is trading at $4,175.91 an ounce. The rand is at 16.20 to the dollar, 21.66 to the pound, 18.54 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $72.24 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy delays on the N12 and the R24 West in the east of Joburg, particularly heading towards the Bedford View area. Delays on the N12 as you come out of Craft Road due to a major accident. And then on the R24, it's right as you come out of Edenville Road. If you're traveling on the N3 South, also do expect heavy delays. This is now due to roadworks right near the Kilulis interchange.
And in your sport, rugby's North and South collide with the Nations Championship opening weekend, seeing the Springboks up against England at Ellis Park. The FIFA World Cup will close out the round of 32 with 3 more matches, with Egypt taking on Australia, Argentina up against Cape Verde, and Colombia meeting Ghana. And the Women's T20 World Cup final sees the Proteas women missing out. It's Australia against England Sunday afternoon.
It's freezing in Gauteng this Friday. The temperatures are at lows of 0 and 2 degrees, peaking at highs between 15 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. An international relations expert says former President Jacob Zuma's public appearance with wanted fugitive Ajay Gupta in India has exposed gaps in South Africa's laws governing former heads of state.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD. 7:02 Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock, walking the talk. But if a stir is being caused by Jacob Zuma's visit to India, we're going to go have tea with an old friend, Ajay Gupta, once a state capture fugitive. No official charges at the moment against him, but certainly he's got some questions to answer around state capture. What do you think that visit was about? Was it about tea and biscuits? Or all these years later, with maybe much of the heat gone on the money trail, maybe they were exchanging some passwords? Hey? What do you call those things where the cryptocurrency passwords are locked into, Muteo? Those devices, man.
Tokens?
Maybe. Do you think it was just about tea and biscuits?
Do you know something we
in a
don't?
year of local government elections?
I mean, funders are needed during elections.
With what money?
I don't know.
Are they still selling Sahara computers?
Could have been just a catch-up. Right?
Yeah, maybe. But what were our officials doing facilitating that visit? You would think if you're a high official, right, in a diplomatic mission, when a former president arrives in town saying, listen, help me go meet with so-and-so, wouldn't you send a text to your bosses and say, hey, Rishabh, should we... help me.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
How does it work? Kabazela wants to know, if you're dating, must your significant other be better looking than you? Is that even a thing for you? Or is it a happy accident when it happens? Be careful what you wish for, because sometimes that has caused issues in relationships, has it not? Mutewa, you always have to have someone better looking.
I think most of us are shallow than we care to admit when it comes to that.
I said earlier, we can't both be ugly.
Yeah, there's
they
no
have
way.
to be better looking.
There's no way.
You and I think we're in that same boat.
You have to upgrade me.
You know what I mean? Amo? What's it like being the pretty one in the relationship?
No, they have to be the prettier ones, because let me tell you why. I need to, if I'm in a relationship with you and you're angry, I still need to see that you are handsome even when you're angry. even when you're upset
Don't
about
be
something.
humble. Don't be humble.
No, I'm
What's
not.
it like? Come on, no, tell the truth. What's it like to be the prettier one in the relationship?
I've never seen myself as the prettier one in any relationship.
Oh, so humble
So I can't answer to
humble
that.
are you?
Good morning, Bongani. Great show as usual. Hey, Kawazela wants to start something. I normally say that ladies who prefer not good-looking boys, they always suffer from low self-esteem. I mean, you need to think about your kids at the end of the day. How will they look like? Sorry for the language. Thank you.
Good morning, Bangles and team. I'm not particular, but I say good-looking men. A lot of good-looking men that I've come across. There's no brains, so I go for the brains. The looks don't matter. So if the brain is functioning much better than mine, then that's the one. Not looks. Hey, good-looking men. The brains are not there.
Hi, Corner, Jonathan Bongani. No ways. He must be handsome. He must be gorgeous because you have to think about your children. You have to think about your children's hair. You have to think about what your children's friends are going to say when they look at this child. Icona, that man has to be gorgeous. No ways. I would look at your teeth, I'll look at your hair, I will look at everything because I'm going to think, what's my child going to look like? What if I accidentally fall pregnant and now I have to deal with this child forever and ever? Icona, he must be gorgeous. Shame. Sam.
Nugget cheapy. I don't think there's any woman that is cheapy of a dana. And even all of them that I've dated, the one thing that was always common about them is that if they run out of sleep, they'll lay up looking at me while I sleep. Yeah, and if you'd wonder how cheapy I am, I look like Amos' husband.
Happy Friday, happy people. Kabazela, qalenye, uzenenye. The lyrics are saying, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. I'm very pretty. I don't date handsome guys. No. They must ask themselves, what is it that she has seen in this man?
Yo, good morning, Bongani. Yo, Kabazelo Zenenye. Guys, I'm dating a very attractive woman. Her name is Kanyisile Petunia Twala. Yo, the anxiety I get whenever we go out, you would hear boys whispering, yeah, uyelo. Yeah, uyambona uye. Yeah, uyambona. Ayashisa lo. Anxiety engiba nayo mangihamba noKhanyisile, guys. Yo, that woman. Anyway, ngiyamthanda. Thank you. Kenny from Abraham Fisher. Thanks.
It's apparently quite a thing, this, huh? The other thing about, take away the looks for a minute, this intelligence thing, I think be very careful with that, hey? I mean, I may think I'm, a great shakes in my little world, but imagine, Mattel, I'm dating, a nuclear physicist, right? There I am with the professor friends, and they're discussing the latest discoveries and splitting the atom and the God particle.
And now it's your turn.
Right? What do I
to
know?
contribute?
In the news this week.
EWN Traffic.
16 after 8 o'clock. Amo?
In come Amo with her traffic report. Oh, well, Bongani, we've got to delays on the N12 and the R24 West. Heavy traffic volumes along this route. Actually, if you know exactly what's happening, please do send us a voice note. We've got delays between Croft Road and the Kilulis interchange, as well as on the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. While heading towards Bedford View, delays on the N3 North. This is between the Geldenes interchange and the Kilulis. This is due to roadworks along this route. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Every small business that dares to disrupt the industry deserves a shot at leveling up. Thanks to Nedbank Business Ignite on 702.
17 after 8. What a fun ride this has been. Nedbank Business Ignite with 702. This year recognizing, rewarding businesses solving real problems because they've lived them. We've been looking for businesses built from real experience, challenges being turned into meaningful solutions. There's a chance to win 200,000 Rand in cash, mentorship, national exposure, and of course, support beyond banking with Simply Biz. As always, Tuli Makubane is going to guide us through this one, the founder and director of Mint Fresh Technology. Tuli Makubane, there used to be a footballer back in the day, Professor Ngubane.
No.
We're going to call you Professor Makubane.
Okay. Professor Makubane. Okay. I could do that.
Talk to us about this business, because, of course, it's all about the incoming changes as far as motoring is concerned. For example, out goes the combustion engine, in come electric vehicles.
Yes, yeah. And I was just remembering your story. Was it last year or the year before where you shared your story of driving around in an electric vehicle?
And it was so quiet.
And you thought it wasn't on.
Yes. You turn it on, you go. You're waiting for the vroom, vroom, vroom. No.
Yes, there's none of that. But definitely today's business has identified a problem. There's that move in technology in motoring. So there's definitely a demand for skills, for technicians who know how to work with electric vehicles, the hybrid vehicles, and not only just cars, but looking at motorbikes, trucks, etc., because that's where the world is going. And they are the only institution in the country, that is accredited, and not even locally accredited. They had to get accreditation from overseas to be able to train the technicians and be able to extend the skill set in South Africa.
All right, let's talk to the owner. Is it Chris Nelson?
Yes, Chris Nelson.
Chris Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson Basong Jock. Basong Jock.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Nelson, and congratulations on making it on this journey so far. What problem were you trying to solve?
Thank you, Bongani, and thank you to the listener. I think, as Tuli was saying, the arrival of a new energy vehicle provided with an opportunity to solve the skill gap that exists in the market. Because there is no curriculum available, we don't have the skill necessary to work on this particular vehicle.
Right, so as the EVs come in, as the hybrids come in, when there are problems down the road, who do you turn to?
We don't have. I think that's why we went to lean to the people that have been doing that for years. Our partner in the UK and also in India. So we find the accreditation locally so that we can train people locally and create, opportunity, job services, this vehicle.
Tell us about the process rather of getting international accreditation.
It took nearly 4 years. I think it took us nearly 4 years because I think it requires investment in terms of equipment. It requires investment in terms of the IP that you need to import. But these are the manufacturer. I think you cannot go and start trying to create something. The curriculum was there. Europe have been doing that. Asia is leading and so on there. So we went to them and said, okay, we need to bring that to Africa. What is happening today locally is that, people that need to train these people need to send them overseas. I think we have brought the technology there. And also talking to, the AIDC, who is a government agency in charge of automotive, we signed an MOU. And we opened the center in 2024. Mm-hmm.
So how many technicians have you trained so far?
Okay, 120 so far. I think 120 from major OEM and also for, the private individual and also for some of the player in the industry. But we are having, requests from neighboring country and so on. And we see the momentum building.
And of course, you're working, as you say, with the manufacturers. These aren't just technicians working on their own in a little workshop somewhere.
Yes, I think the manufacturer, exactly, they see the need because, I don't know but it's on our website. I think if we say we have trained people from Ford, from we publish on our website and so on.
The manufacturers that you work with, what an incredible gap to identify, Tuli, hey?
Most definitely, and it's a great way to actually end off this 3 weeks of showcasing finalists.
Can I tell you,
yes,
the standard of the entries this year has been top drawer.
Most definitely. And also, people are actually able to go to the website and see. So I checked in just before our interview. We've had 615 entries.
Wow.
So out of the 15 that made it,
as finalists,
yes,
there were 600 others that didn't.
Yeah. And
Goodness
there
me.
are some really great businesses, and as I've been saying in the past couple of days, people go to the directory, check out some of the businesses there. You might find there's a service that you require, and there's a small business that is actually offering it.
And maybe there are opportunities for partnerships, and
Most definitely.
who knows?
And they're looking to scale up because there's demand. They have one center in Pretoria. But, Kabeja is also a motoring hub, so you need to train technicians there.
And also, who knows what opportunities may lie for the rest of the continent as well. You can go to Ignite Your Business and also, of course, primemediaplus.com.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam, this is a never-ending war, isn't it? Now, the latest attacks on Ukraine by Russian missiles.
And apparently they thought they were coming because of intelligence that led to Volodymyr Zelensky cancelling, or at least cutting short, his trip to Dublin. He flew home because he said there was intelligence about something about to brew, and the thing that was about to brew was this huge attack. We're talking 700 plus missiles and drones, not necessarily the biggest in number, but it was over such a wide area of Kiev. So lots of neighborhoods, 52,000 people were evacuated from their homes. We know the damage done is that 30 people at least have lost their lives, 90 people injured. And whilst a lot of these drones and missiles were shot down, it's said by the Ukrainian military that 35 or so got through and landed, and there are now damaged buildings, a hotel on fire, for instance. A huge crater's been found just outside a kindergarten. That could have gone horribly wrong. And all this after the warning that Russia was about to do it, not from Russia itself, but from Ukrainian intelligence. We talk about the tit for tat element, but every time we talk about that, of course, there are people's lives on the line, and it just feels like it's, as you say, never ending and grim, and the toll it's taking on people in both Ukraine and Russia is just awful.
And sing with me, Adam. Oh, say, can you see?
By the dawn's early light, indeed, America is about to celebrate its 250th birthday with numerous parades, fireworks, a cherry festival in Michigan, the Let Freedom Sing music festival in Nashville, pool parties in Las Vegas, although they have pool parties in Las Vegas all the time. There'll be no concert, we know that, because a lot of bands and singers thought, you know what, nah, not bothered. So in its place, we're told we might get a speech from Donald Trump when it is the 4th of July. Hey, there's a 16-day state fair that's opened and is something of a damp squib. There really haven't been the numbers of people turning up. This is in the Mall in Washington, D.C., where each of the 50 states gets its own booth. And some of them just look a bit pants. They look like, I don't know, a sort of primary school show and tell. Florida, though, for those people who do turn up, Florida gets the longest queue. Weirdly, at the World Cup, it'll be Canada that take centre stage on the 4th of July. They're playing Morocco in Houston in Texas. I wonder if the good Texans will support the 51st state. And I saw this on BBC website, which was just a vox pop of opinion amongst Canadians. What birthday present would you give the USA, your next door neighbours? The answers: maple syrup, although America does have maple syrup, but anyway, maple syrup, political freedom, a better president, and Celine Dion on loan.
Now, Adam, not since I would say Bex and Posh has there been so much buzz about a celebrity wedding.
Enormous buzz, and as with Posh and Bex, indeed, so much secrecy as well. Given how they've played out their entire love affair in the full glare of the cameras, Taylor Swift traveling across America to cheer on Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs, and in return, Travis Kelce traveling around the world to cheer on Taylor Swift in all her gigs, all too well. It's been quite a love story that's been played out, but all we know is that Madison Square Garden in New York has been booked, and nobody is saying by whom. We think there was a rehearsal dinner last night, or was there? We think there could be 1,000 guests. Now, are they witnessing a wedding? Is it a party? Is it absolutely nothing to do with that? Are they already married? A lot of people feel that they're not going to get married in Madison Square Garden. It's a bit pants as a wedding venue, isn't it? Surely they'll do it somewhere swanky and private. So we wonder, if it is today that they tie the knot, will this be a love story in wildest dreams? And will they belong together, enchanted lovers? Or maybe some of her song titles lend themselves to the complete opposite. Maybe there'll be a prenup. You need to calm down. Now that we don't talk, don't blame me. We are never, ever getting back together. Her song titles suggest more tragedy than romance, but...
No pictures to burn or bad blood, Adam. Indeed, we never, hopefully, will hear about the smallest man who ever lived. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN.
Muteo, don't give me that look. I don't write Taylor Swift song titles. You ought to be more concerned that I know those titles. SA Smelter shutting down. This is not good news.
No, not the best of news, Abongane. South Africa's last remaining operating manganese smelter has switched off the lights. Trans Alloys announced that all furnace operations at its facility in Mpumalanga have stopped. The smelter warned in December last year that 600 direct jobs and 1,700 indirect jobs were at risk as soaring electricity prices led to mounting financial losses. CEO Konstantin Sadovnik says Trans Alloys has now reached a point where continuing to operate would simply accelerate its own collapse. Electricity currently accounts for about 40 to 41% of Trans Alloys' total production expenses.
Wasn't there a conversation about relief being offered?
Yes, but that was for two companies, which is Glencore Merafe and Samanco, who make up 70% of the smelters.
Trans
Alloys makes up 30%. They are still operating under the double-digit electricity tariffs. They haven't been received any relief from Eskom just yet.
Because?
I have no idea, Bongani, why that would have worked out like that. But the Trans Alloys is basically saying they can't, if they don't get the relief as well, they can't operate.
Children of a lesser god?
Yes.
Gosh, where's the rand?
16 Rand 20 against the US dollar, 18 Rand 55 against the euro, 21 Rand 65 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,168 an ounce, and platinum up more than 2% this morning, $1,657. Brent crude at $72 a barrel. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Here's a song title. Sfiso Zulu, Angaz, Angaz, Angaz.
Yeah, Bongani, good morning. That appears to be what former NPA boss Nkolisi Nxasana has admitted, saying that the responsibility of prosecuting apartheid-era crimes lay with him during his tenure, but insists he knew nothing about them. Nxasana testified at the TRC cases inquiry yesterday. The commission is investigating alleged political interference in the prosecution of TRC cases. Khomoso Modise has more.
Nkolisi Nxasana has pleaded ignorance on the apartheid-era cases that were referred to the NPA for prosecution at the end of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. He insists he wasn't briefed by his predecessor, Nomgcobo Jiba, when he assumed office in 2013.
I did not even get the handover report from my predecessor, and I'm sure that if that had happened, I'm sure that the matters of the TRC matters would have been covered there, and they would have been brought to my attention.
Several parties in the commission have expressed their intention to apply for cross-examining Nxasana. If this is granted, he'll be called back to the commission to continue with his testimony. Khomoso Modise, Eyewitness News.
The ANC says genuine concerns over illegal immigration have been hijacked by political agendas. The party held a media briefing yesterday to reflect on the 30 June demonstrations against undocumented foreign nationals. ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula has also defended its record in government, saying its efforts to deal with illegal immigration have been stifled by the courts and NGOs. Mbalula says leaders of anti-illegal immigration groups used the demonstrations to openly campaign for certain political parties.
You must also appreciate the fact that there have been deep political utterances right from the onset. Government has failed, government must be removed. When somebody says that, it closes you down. And then the next step, no, we're fighting illegal immigration. But in this illegal immigration, we must be conscious of the fact that we have been failed by government and government must go.
And Business Unity South Africa has withdrawn from the Unemployment Insurance Fund structures at the National Economic Development and Labour Council, and it's removed its representatives from the UIF board. The business organisation cited what it describes as years of governance failures and poor service delivery at the fund as reasons for the move. Busa says it has spent the past 6 years trying to reform the UIF through NEDLAC processes, but claims little progress has been made in addressing operational failures in delays in benefit payments. Anelita Fandese reports.
Busa says the decision was necessary to protect the integrity of its representatives and to send a clear message that the current situation at the fund is unsustainable. The organization has called for the UIF to be placed under administration and for an independent forensic investigation into the fund's spending and governance practices. The Department of Employment and Labour has previously acknowledged challenges at the UIF, but says reforms are underway to improve governance, modernize systems and strengthen oversight. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
A freezing Friday in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 0 and 2 degrees, peaking at highs between 15 and 17 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 and the R24 West. That's due to an accident, really major one, causing heavy traffic volumes. There's also queuing traffic on the R21 South due to another accident that happened near Isando Road, delays from Atlas Road.
The top story this hour, former NPA boss Mxolisi Nxasana has admitted that the responsibility of prosecuting apartheid-era crimes lay with him during his tenure, but insists he knew nothing about them.
Just Andalex it. Do you have a sore throat? Andalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Andalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Just Andalex it.
Andalex, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
Hi, this is Alia Itzebet, Hollywood Bets brand ambassador. A reminder that you can still shoot for the stars while playing responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling toll-free counselling line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Every day you trust the infrastructure around you, from the roads you drive, the buildings you enter, to the bridges you cross. But trust isn't built with concrete alone. Today you can catch the Clement Manyatela Show live from the Public Works and Infrastructure Summit, hosted by the Council for the Built Environment in Modderfontein. Stay tuned as government and industry leaders come together to tackle South Africa's infrastructure challenges, strengthen public safety, and explore practical solutions to restore your confidence in the built environment. Brought to you by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure on 702.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
This topic, the worst crime that one has ever done. I'm not going to mention my name. So my dad trusted me with everything that he had. He trusted me with everything that he had. Well, I was still young. I think I was still in primary. He left and go chill with his friends, and I played with his firearm. Trust me when I say it went off. Lucky enough is that no one was hurt. Not me, no one. I was alone in the house. Yeah, still live to regret that day. Disappointed my dad on that day.
Hi, good morning, Bongani and the team. Yo, growing up, damn it, when that phone was locked, I don't know how we came to know that one should tap the number like one, and you if the number at the three, if you tap it thrice, 1 2 3 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and you dial the number that way. So yeah, we made our phone calls to our girls that we were dating back then. Lovely show.
Bongani, you took me way back. Yo, I was this close, like this close to become a jailbird. I had hands. Yo, I had hands. And maybe that's the reason I'm scared to have kids, because I feel like my kids is gonna turn out just like me, thanks to my dad. Even though sometimes I just hate him because he got married, to my stepmom and left me to live with my granny. But that man, whatever miracle he performed, I owe him a great deal.
It's a Friday, it's a Friday, it's a Friday. Good morning, 702 Lenders, Bongani, Muteo, and Amo in the studio. This is Pilisiwe from Rondabelt. I grew up with a stepmom, of which I never liked her. If you could recall, in our homes, there used to be 2 wardrobes, one for dad, one for the stepmom. So I started a fire in her wardrobe, trying to burn all her clothes. And yeah, my dad gave me a beating. I was 7 years old. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, ne, Amo. My little salt in coffee story pales into insignificance. We were talking about the most egregious offenses you committed in your home as a child. And it comes, of course, on the back of a very serious story, by the way. An 11-year-old, or is it 10-year-old child, stealing the parents' bakkie, essentially, and then plowing into a crowd of pilgrims in northeastern Thailand, killing a few monks. But some of the stories that have been coming through from 702 Landers, yeah, ne? Thank goodness for parents who are strict, because somehow, I mean, some of us are walking miracles because of who we were as kids and how our parents coped with us.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira is looking at me going, I knew that all along.
Bit of a giggle as well, yep.
Let's talk World Cup football. Cristiano Ronaldo not about to be left out of the glory stakes.
Well, I suppose that is true, because the fact is that he's finally gotten a knockout goal after 6 tournaments. That says his Portugal went on to come back and pick a 2-1 victory over Croatia. It's also seen them set up an Iberian showdown in the round of 16 against Spain. This is as the Spanish were in free flow with a 3-0 victory over Austria. We also saw Switzerland beating Algeria 2-0. More football headed your way with the FIFA World Cup closing out the round of 32 with 3 matches. Egypt have a first ever knockout clash against Australia. Argentina meet the defensively sound Cabo Verde, and Colombia take on Ghana. In rugby, it's the opening weekend of the Nations Championship with North versus South. Saturday starts with the All Blacks colliding with France. We have the Wallabies tackling Ireland. Arguably the pick of the lot has to see the Springboks up against England. Youngster Zachary Portham saying he's taking this moment in.
I spoke to some of the guys today, and I heard them say, like, even they haven't figured it out. There's so many things in terms of scrumming. You could neglect one, master another, and then neglect that again. So I think just to try and be on top of it all the time is what us props are trying to do. And I'm just, taking it all in.
It's a 20-6 kickoff tomorrow afternoon. Before that, at Ellis Park, we will have the Springbok women having a test against the USA. In cricket, the Women's T20 World Cup final Sunday will have the record winners Australia up against the hosts England. Proteas women missing out yesterday as they lost the semi-final by 40 runs to the English. One positive, Shabnim Ismail became the first player to claim 50 wickets in the tournament's history. She came out of retirement specifically for this event. Here's her coach, Mandla Mashimbi.
And we'll never find another Shibnam if she doesn't play for us. But, bringing her back was just to bring that X factor into the bowling attack. I think we had too much of the same type of bowlers, and teams could work out what we're trying to do. And Shibnam and Kapi can put any team under pressure with a new ball. And that's what we've been doing.
It's a sprint Formula 1 weekend. The British Grand Prix practice is 1:30. Then we have the qualifying at 5:30 this afternoon. Grand Prix lights out Sunday, 4 p.m. And Wimbledon's third round will have both the men's and women's number ones Yannick Sinner and Arina Sabalenka back on court. Headline matches include Belinda Bencic against Anna Kalinskaya. Novak Djokovic meets Arthur Rinderknecht. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Wrapping up the morning's traffic, Amo, what are you seeing?
Bongani, unfortunately, we still have got those accidents that we reported or we spoke about earlier. The one happened on the R21 South, right near Isanda Road. Actually, the R24 East near Isanda Road, delays from the OR Tambo interchange. And then another one on the N12 West, right at the R24 merge. Delays coming out of Croft Road, about a 40-minute hold up there. And then heading towards Bedfordview, roadworks are causing delays on the N3 North between the Geldernes interchange and the Glulies interchange. If you were traveling to Sandton, that truck along the M1 South, this is just before Greyston Drive, it's still causing delays coming out of the Baklu interchange. And then, of course, in Lynmere, we still have got that accident on the N12 West, right near the Reading interchange, causing heavy delays. We'll have more, though, at the top of the hour. Do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Jozi is moving. People are showing up. Communities are stepping up. We see you, Jozi. Asambe. ABSA is proud to partner with 702 Walk the Talk on 26 July. Thousands will take to the streets of Jozi CBD and celebrate what makes this city iconic. Visit absa.co.za/702 Walk the Talk. ABSA is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Sportingbet's Millionaires Cup is live, and your shot at up to 10 million rand is on the line. A pass, a tackle, a strike. Moments make the game. This one could make you. Take on a series of thrilling missions and climb your way to millionaire status with every stage of the tournament. Bet now at sportingbet.co.za. Could you be our next millionaire? Sportingbet. Betting amplified. T's and C's apply. Sportingbet is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No under 18s may gamble. WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710 or contact the SARGF toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008. Winners know when to stop.
Light the fire this weekend with Checkers. We have everything you need to keep the braai and the gees going strong. Get Championship Boerewors, thick or thin, or Boerie Bites for $109.99 per kilo. Simple Truth Natural Lamb Chops for $179.99 per kilo. Steakhouse Classic Man-Size Rump for $189.99 per kilo. And Steakhouse Classic Porterhouse Steak for $199.99 per kilo. Valid until 5 July, only at Checkers.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
Coming up on the Clement Manyatela Show between 9 and 12. Of course, Clement, not in the studio this morning, but you're talking infrastructure. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Bongani. We're live from the Public Works and Infrastructure Summit in Modderfontein. We've got some government officials here, industry leaders, and they've come together to deal with some of the country's infrastructure challenges. They want to see how they can strengthen public safety and explore practical solutions to restore confidence in the built environment. So we'll bring you some of the interviews from some of the officials that are here. But on the open line, we're going to talk about Jordan Hill-Lewis, who was talking tough about the ANC yesterday and how, the ANC must understand that it didn't win the majority like it always has. And I want to ask the listeners if they really believe that, because I've heard it before from Helen, from John. So I wonder what the listeners think. Also, Dinapule, yesterday the ANC defending Ramaphosa's decision to appoint her again as Minister of Communications. And Fikile Mbalula has a point in that, look, someone has been rehabilitated. They have learned from their mistakes. But I don't know if she has. She's never apologized. She's never owned up. So is it enough to say just because you received a fine and there was a sanction against you for something unlawful you did, then it's enough for you to come back? I don't think that's the case, and I'll make that point and hear what the other listeners think. At 10 o'clock, though, we're going to do our Across the Desk feature. Today, I'm hosting engineers on Across the Desk, and then at 11 o'clock, we do our relationship feature. Today, we'll be discussing how menopause and andropause affect relationships.
Clement Mangatela between 9 and 12.
When you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Nedbank is more than just a bank. We're a growth partner because we understand that real success happens when you're looking ahead, spotting opportunities others miss, and planning for tomorrow today. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
For over 120 years, Shell has been woven into the vibrant fabric of Mzansi, fueling your engines and your dreams, powering your journeys and your potential. We believe progress is measured in the opportunities we create, the smiles we inspire, and the lives we continue to touch. We are more than just energy. We're the everyday difference in people's lives. You can always count on Shell.
Smart business moves mean more cash flow. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Dr. Fahim from Matrix Dental.
We were with our previous insurers for many years prior to the switch. We found that Outsurance really understood our business needs. We are happy with our premiums. I wish we had switched sooner.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0600 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Good morning, Bongani. Hey, on your topic with Kabazela, listen here. There is power in being an intelligent woman and well educated. I have never, and I would never date an ugly guy. Never, ever. I am not one of those gorgeous ladies. But one thing is that I'm intelligent, I'm well educated, I work hard, I'm a runner. So, I bring a package. I might not be Miss South Africa, but I want well-looking guy and obviously must have some brains, I won't say my name. I'm anonymous today. Thank you, babe.
Bongani, the babies. Think about the babies. True. If you date beneath you, power dynamics. You're equal or better. Let them upgrade you. But think about the babies in particular. Of course, the brains also matter, personality and character. Bottom of the rankings, but the looks number 2, as Amos said.
Maybe that's why we've got such a high divorce rate. The things that people are looking for in a partner to settle down with, come on, they're so superficial. No, you're looking for a gorgeous man. Okay.
Apart from the looks thing, I'm really shocked at this. By the way, if you've just joined us, Kabazela was sharing a video. This is in our What's Gone Viral section, a video where this person talks about why looks are important in relationships. I'm shocked at how much many of us are insisting on looks. But apart from the shallowness of that, even intelligence is relative. You may think you're a pretty big shot in your world, but I use the example of, a nuclear physicist. What would I say to their professor friends?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, we've been talking about it for weeks now, and the day has arrived. The moment is here. If you're looking for something truly remarkable, unforgettable, a production that promises to transport audiences to a world of power, of passion, perhaps even danger, look no further than The Bacchae, an African choral ballet breathing new life into an ancient Greek tragedy, a story you may think you know. This is, of course, that Euripides classic, the story about a mysterious outsider. I always get it wrong. Help me? Dionysus, yes, of course. Arriving with promises of freedom, ecstasy, and spiritual awakening. I've got Elroy Phillips-Bowell, who is, of course, the CEO of the Joburg Ballet, to talk us through this. A very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning, Bongani. Thank you for having me.
Why this story? Why this tragedy?
Well, I mean, I suppose it starts with a who. It starts with Neo Muyanga, the writer and composer of the Bacchae and African Choral Ballet. UJ Arts and Culture CEO Peter Jacobs and I approached Neo around what story he wanted to tell, because we knew we wanted to do a choral ballet, but we didn't know which direction we wanted to go. And Neo's been sitting with this story for a little while after engaging with Ntate Wole Soyinka, who wrote his version of the Bacchae, which actually opened in London in the 70s. So he's been mulling over this idea of the Bacchae for a number of years, and this opportunity was a really perfect moment to create this work. And so we've gone on this journey with him. And along the way, we've brought in Mtutuzeli November, an incredible, globally recognized South African choreographer, and Jay Pather as director, to really engage with Euripides' story in this current South African moment. Look, we're talking about a society that's governed by rules that are serving a particular echelon of society. And then you've got a disruptor coming in here and understanding that you need to broaden that. You need to understand what is the energy that drives the city. It's humanism. It is passion. It is our ability to engage with ourselves as people that are having human connections. And that's all Dionysus is trying to do.
And I mean, even as you lay it out, it's a story that any listener to this show will be familiar with in terms of South African current affairs. But I'm curious about it being an adaptation of an adaptation, bringing it for South African audiences in 2026. For somebody who's hearing all of this for the first time and doesn't quite know this world and doesn't know who Euripides was or what this tragedy was about, why should they come and see this production?
Look, I think we've had Greek tragedy and Greek stories or classic works, even in Shakespeare, has had an underlying sort of root themes that all of us can access. And this is really a canvas that we're building upon. It's Euripides' story that's thousands of years old, but within the South African context, I mean, even the global context that we're finding ourselves in right now, that tension is ever present. What we experience on Tuesday is an allegory for this show. So I think it's a very important moment for us as South Africans to step into this world. It's a family show. It's there's all ages accessible. I mean, it's a wonderful moment for people to just interrogate our place within the society we function within, but also the various factors that kind of sway moods in one way or the other.
I mean, this is no small undertaking. You've brought together Joburg Ballet, of course, the University of Joburg Choir. You've got a live orchestra, fantastic new choreography. All of these elements promise a spectacle.
It is an epic. It is probably one of the largest shows, I mean, if not the largest show that will be exhibited on Johannesburg stages this year. It has 30 orchestra members.
That's a big claim.
30 orchestra members of the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra, 80 choir members of the University of Johannesburg, and 30 ballet dancers. That's not a small feat. This is a moment for Johannesburg audiences to truly feel and experience something that is of a global scale.
It sounds absolutely wonderful. I mean, because people tend to see some of these art forms as elitist and maybe not accessible or even relevant for them. You're saying, come and see this one and you'll change your mind.
Completely. There's a reason we're calling it the Bacchae, an African choral ballet, because that is what this is. It is rooted in the sounds of Pan-African instrumentation and influence because of Neo Muyanga's storytelling. His incredible experience around choral work and working with dancers in the past, but this is his first ballet that he's composed and written. And the work that Mtutuzeli has done really forms that tension within the styles of dance. You've got Pantheus and the people of Thebes fulfilling these classical ballet lines, and then he's deeply incorporated traditional African dance as part of what the Bacchae represent and creating that tension in terms of this sort of a preconceived idea of what the structure of the society needs to look like versus what we should be interrogating it could be.
What's the conversation or feeling you hope people will leave with?
A sense of place and wonder, I think. A really interrogation of who we are as South Africans and this moment that we're navigating now. I think we all need a moment of self-interrogation and self-reflection and really kind of a moment of perspective where we can really say, okay, what are we going through and how am I interrogating that on a daily basis? How am I critically engaging with the news, with the moment in society? But also that moment of awe is what I want people to walk away from this theatre with. That we have the most incredible South African talent that is making incredible names for themselves abroad, but are not often getting their flowers and their opportunity in South Africa.
Right here at home. And maybe that's an opportunity then to change that narrative. It's on at the Joburg Theatre. This is at the Mandela Theatre. It opens tonight, 7 p.m. And of course, there'll be another production on Sunday. Am I correct? Or it runs from tonight until Sunday, the 12th of July at the Joburg Theatre. You can get your tickets from Web Tickets. This is an epic production not to be missed. Elroy Phyllis Bell is, of course, the CEO of Joburg Ballet. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bongani.
It sounds absolutely awe-inspiring. And it's going to be one of those moments where even if you may not be familiar with this art form, if you want to impress someone, this is the one to take them to.
702.
More than a radio station.
Let's walk the talk.
And on that note, we leave it for this week for 702 Breakfast. Coming up next, of course, the Clement Manyatela Show. You have yourselves a fantastic weekend. We'll see you bright and early on Monday morning. It's 9 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sviso Zulu. There's growing scrutiny over the role played by South Africa's High Commissioner to India, Anil Suklak, during a visit by former President Jacob Zuma to the country. Photographs of Zuma with wanted fugitive Ajay Gupta have been circulated online this week, and questions have been raised about whether Suklak should have accompanied Zuma during the visit. But international relations expert Kingsley Makubela says the High Commissioner may have little choice, as diplomatic missions are expected to provide official support to former heads of state who travel on diplomatic passports. He says disciplinary action against Suklak would only be justified if there was evidence that he advised or facilitated Zuma's meeting with the Guptas. Makubela says the duties of a High Commissioner include extending official protocol and assistance to former presidents.
It would be unfortunate, actually, if they take action against Suklal because he's a diplomat. He wasn't giving services to the Guptas. He didn't go to see the Guptas. He went there to provide the service to Zuma as a former president, to extend the courtesy that is expected of the South African ambassador.
Trade Union Federation COSATU says heads must roll and those responsible for the sale of the Tafelberg site must be held accountable. The call comes after yesterday's Constitutional Court ruling that the sale of the Tafelberg site by the Western Cape government was unlawful and unconstitutional because of inadequate public participation. COSATU says the ruling is a victory for the right to adequate housing, which it says should have been built on the site. Babalo Ndenza reports.
The Constitutional Court found the Western Cape government wanting when it comes to meaningful public participation in the decision to sell a former school in Cape Town's seaside suburb of Sea Point, declaring the decision unconstitutional. COSATU labelled the ruling a monumental victory for the fundamental right to adequate housing, which the Federation has advocated for. Provincial Secretary Melvin de Bruyn says the judgment